I made my first sale online June 12th. So I made like my first 3 sales online June 12th. I mean, in June, I made like my first $50 online in June. And then I went crazy from $50 in June to $1,200, right? In 2 weeks, I made my first $1,200 in 2 weeks, 9 days actually, from July 4th to July 13th. And it was crazy. And that's a big jump. And then after that, I kind of almost fit my container. And then the darkness started coming in because I started feeling unworthy. I started feeling like self-doubt. And that's where the inner work comes back in. You know, I kind of hit this container in terms of evolving and believing in myself. You know, I don't know if you guys know Neuro Knowledge. You probably do, because I make very similar stuff to him. But I was watching his video on Sunday or on Monday, and he said that your self-worth is your ceiling. Like, your ceiling is your self-worth. You can only go as high as you believe you're worthy of, you're capable of, right? And so that is why inner work is so important, because most of us are traumatized. Most of us don't believe in ourselves. Most of us have disgusting programming and conditioning put on ourselves that make us feel like we can't actually be the people that we want to be. And that person that we want to be, that true self, is going to be the person that takes the aligned actions while will actually like materialize materialize the reality that you want to create, right? It'll attract the things that you want to attract. Yo. Oh, shit. Popping Yankee. So, there's no way this is straight. Okay. Hopefully that's good. So I'm here, and I was, I've been up since 3 a.m. Been up since 3 a.m. And basically since like 4, I've been like working on business stuff. So right now, I'm working on my stand store, as you can see. By the time you see this video, this might be done, probably. But basically, I was doing my copy here for my Purposeful Entrepreneurship course. This is my course. It used to be called Purposeful Productivity, and now it's Purposeful Entrepreneurship. So basically, I have my copy here, and it's super long. It's a lot of copy. It's a lot of copy. But basically, I made the copy that long because I wanted to really tell my story in it, and I wanted to lay out my philosophy, really make sure that people resonated with me when they're trying to buy my thing. I just want to see if this comp is okay real quick. Give me a second. Okay. I think the comp is okay. Pretty sure the comp is good. So, I really want to make sure people resonated with me. And so if they click on this and they're interested in the course and they see this and it's like interesting, I put a lot of effort into writing this and trying to make this good copy. And so I just finished writing it, and I was going to read it out loud because I wanted to hear how it read out loud. And so I was like, well, might as well put leverage on this time and record it. So I'm basically just going to be reading this this copy here. I'm going to have some business lessons towards the end, but there are going to be lessons sprinkled in this as I talk about my story. And then I'm going to give you a couple more lessons that I'm have in here, basically. So I'm going to do some coloring here and there. So not everything that I'm saying will be here in the copy. But basically by the end of this video, this is kind of like a VSL almost. Because I'm saying all of the copy that's here that would convince you to buy the course. And so if you get to the end, you'd basically be convinced by my words already, right? You know what I'm saying? So this is kind of like a video sales letter almost. But just to start, actually, I am running a promotion since I'm relaunching the Purposeful Entrepreneurship course. This used to be my Purposeful Productivity course, but I'm relaunching it. And I recently had this beta program with, I had 5 spots open, but only 4 of them got filled up. And so I had 4 people in the community, in the JC Dubs community, the Digital Renaissance Creators Movement. I have 4 students in there, Teddy, Shawana, Cheryl, and Minay. And they're basically giving me feedback, giving me testimonials, helping me out, helping me improve the product. And that's giving me a better idea of how to craft it. And so what I'm going to be doing is adding more to the course as people give me feedback. And as even, if you decided to buy the course yourself, let's say, you gave me some feedback, oh, Jaden, I'd like to see this in the course. I didn't really hear about this and I'd like to know about that. Boom, I'm going to make a video for it. I'm going to make sure that's in the course. I want to make sure this course is as good as possible. I'm not really going to be making too many more business products especially right now, like especially in the meantime. And I'm still open to business coaching, but I'm not out there pushing that right now. So this is really the main way I can help people with business outside of YouTube videos. But if you want something that is going to like give you like step by step, okay, this is how I like get into it, like what am I doing, and especially the mindset, which is the most important part, right? That's why I'm a mindset coach, because everything starts in here, everything starts in the mind. This course is going to be the foundational thing you need, right? And I'm going to tell you about this. And actually, let's just jump into it. Let's just jump into me telling you about my story. Time and time again, I tried to make money online. Time and time again, I got nothing. 6 months into online business, and I'd made $0. Some people say that you can lock in and be on 10K per month in 6 months. I agree. It's pretty crazy, actually. Yesterday, I had a really good day yesterday, and it's pretty or 2 days ago rather. This was 2 days ago. Wait, no, I saw this yesterday. Okay, no, I did have a dude. I had a great day yesterday and a great day 2 days ago. It's looking like I'm gonna have another great one to do today, based on how much I've been just working. I'm not gonna lie. You work hard, you create some stuff, and you train hard, bro. It's like, what else do you need? Shit's cool. But I was watching this video, a podcast, from this guy named Matthew, and he basically runs a podcast called School Stories, and it's basically success stories from the school platform. And we're gonna talk a little bit more about school, but I'm sure you've probably heard of school right now. If you're watching this video, you're in the online business space, you've probably heard of school, right? So if you don't, go look it up or something. But basically, there's a woman, I'm pretty sure she's 22, I think. She's very young. She's around my age. So I'm 20 and I'm turning 21 at the end of the year. So December 30th is my birthday. Cap shit, baby. You know what I mean? That's why I got this on. Because caps are the GOAT. What are you talking about? But I was watching her video, her interview. And basically her story was like, she locked in February of this year. And then I think March, she made $2K her first month because she invested $1,000 in herself and for a mentorship program. And in that mentorship program, she got a client. It might have been her mentor, actually. I'm not sure. I think he might have given her the gig. But basically, she invested in herself, and then she doubled down again, invested in herself. Unfortunately, the next month, she didn't make any money. She made $0. So her first month at doing copywriting, that's what she was doing. So she locked in, quit her job February. March, she makes $2K. When she signs up for this mentorship program, and she gets put on by her mentor. Cool. Next month, April, no money, right? She doubled down with her 2K and invested back into the mentorship program and into more like learning and stuff, like another event. But she didn't get any return. She didn't make any money in April. And I've personally felt this. I had my biggest revenue month in July so far, which was $1,200. And then the next month I did like 400. I didn't actually get any new sales though. That was just recurring revenue from previous clients. And then September, no new sales, $0. And I felt like, oh, I'm the fucking worst. I'm trash. I'm a piece of fucking shit entrepreneur. I'm the worst. I'm garbage. I'm terrible. I'm just all the, yeah, you know, it was just a lot of it was, yeah, it was a lot. It was bad. But, you know, it was because I fell into a hole and I was in a rut. And a lot of it was because I haven't said this too much on, I think I've only mentioned this one time on the channel, but if you guys previously know me, been like watching the channel and supporting, Aaron and I, that was my partner previously, we're no longer together. We decided to move forward separately, and we thought that was the best move for both of us. But I personally felt like in the relationship, you know, not to put any of this on Aaron or anything, this is kind of just how the dynamic went. I tried to take on too much when I couldn't even handle it. You know, I've been on my personal development journey for about 15 months at this point. Since last July is when I really was like, all right, fuck this. I hate my life. I'm going to change something. Now, I've really been on this like mental health and inner work journey for 5 years. I started it back in high school, 2019 of April, with my like high school social worker, Miss Mick. Shout out to Miss Mick. And she's helped me so much with healing, with mindset, with inner work, with understanding myself finding my awareness, healing the inner child, trauma, understanding myself, depression, anxiety, so many mental health things. And as I've learned over the past year, I've been able to use all of the tools that she taught me to introspect, to go within. This is why I'm such an advocate for journaling. I made an entire journaling course for inner work. And I have that like literally for free right here on YouTube. You can find that right here in my playlist on YouTube for free. Entire journaling course for inner work, because journaling helped me so much. And I basically applied a lot of the principles, a lot of the thinking, a lot of the like ways to ask questions, a lot of therapy, a lot of like introspection, a lot of like just trying to find yourself, trying to find awareness, trying to understand yourself, is asking the right questions to get the right answers. And so understanding how to learn to, ask the right questions to yourself so you can get the right answers out of yourself, that's important. And I feel like that's one of the greatest skills a coach can have, which is why I feel like I'm such a great coach, because that's a skill I've always been great at. But I've, been on this inner work journey for 5 years, and I've been on this like personal development journey for 15 months, and I've been on this like super heavy, esoteric, mystical, spiritual journey since April of this year, so the past 7 months. And over this time that I've been learning, I've like found time and time again that there's something about like locking in, you know what I mean? There's something about really going all in on what you believe can happen, on going all in on your goals, going all in on yourself, and not letting up. Because when you let up, when you start getting comfortable, like I was, right? In June and July, I started making progress, right? In June, I started making some progress. I made my first sale online June 12th. So I made like my first 3 sales online June 12th. In June, I made like my first $50 online in June. And then I went crazy from $50 in June to $1,200, right? In 2 weeks, I made my first $1,200 in 2 weeks, 9 days actually, from July 4th to July 13th. And it was crazy. And that's a big jump. And then after that, I kind of almost fit my container. And then the darkness started coming in because I started feeling unworthy. I started feeling like self-doubt. And that's where the inner work comes back in. I kind of hit this container in terms of evolving and believing in myself. I was, I don't know if you guys know Neuro Knowledge. You probably do, because I make very similar stuff to him. But I was watching his video on Sunday or on Monday, and he said that your self-worth is your ceiling. Like your ceiling is your self-worth. You can only go as high as you believe you're worthy of, you're capable of, right? And so that is why inner work is so important, because most of us are traumatized. Most of us don't believe in ourselves. Most of us have disgusting programming and conditioning put on ourselves that make us feel like we can't actually be the people that we want to be. And that person that we want to be, that true self, is going to be the person that takes the aligned actions while will actually like materialize the reality that you want to create, right? It'll attract the things that you want to attract. And so you have to be your true self, right? You have to be the person that you know you can be. You have to have that emotional conviction behind yourself. And conviction is something we're going to talk about later. It's super important. And so if you don't have that emotional conviction behind your authentic self, right, which leads to actions, right, aligned action, you're never going to be able to take that aligned action, which is going to move you towards your desired reality. With intention, you can create work, and with intention, you can work and you can create change in consciousness. There we go. That's what I was getting at. But if you don't believe in yourself, then you can't do those things. If you have blocks, you can't do those things. If you're in separation consciousness, you can't do those things. If you don't believe you're the creator of your reality, you can't do those things. If you're a victim, you can't do those things. Blocks. There are many, 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 many blocks. And these blocks will get in your way. So, let me tell you a bit about my story and how I've overcome these blocks so I can make money in my business. So since December 2023, I've been pursuing YouTube and coaching. Back in December, I'd invested in a mentorship program called Adana School for $500 so I could learn YouTube and business strategies to make my first $1,000 online. So basically throughout like the page, I have like pictures and stuff that pop up, kind of like documenting the journey. So I'll have those pop up at times when I read them. So you'll see this screenshot here. This is my $500 payment to Hamza for Adana School on December 2nd. Adana School was hosted by millionaire and self-improvement YouTuber Hamza Ahmed. Hamza came up on YouTube, on YouTube, yes, but Hamza came up in business selling self-improvement coaching and courses for young men. Then he created his program, Adonis School, like I mentioned earlier, to be the all-in-one community coaching and course platform. School is amazing. Adonis School made me fall in love with it, and since then, it's taken off since the Hormozy investment since earlier this year. Highly endorse School. All I'm gonna say about School now is like, one, I just said Hormozy. We all know Hormozy, right? And if you don't, you need to go know Hormozy. You need to go know Hormozy. There we go. But School is amazing. It has community, right? So people can connect with each other. You can DM, you can make like Reddit posts, like forum page posts. It's like a Facebook group type shit. You can also host your courses in there. You can also sell courses in there. You can basically sell anything in like the classroom section, which is where courses are supposed to be. But just because, you know, it's in the classroom section and you can put a paywall behind it. It doesn't necessarily have to be a course inside of it. It can be video, it can be words, it can be a link, you know, like let's say I wanted to charge like $1,000 for like a high ticket one-to-one like service, and I like had that in my community. Someone could pay me directly in my community through that like classroom section, boom, pay me, and then they can get like the link to that schedule. You know what I'm saying? So you have the classroom section with one-time payments as well. And then there is the calendar for hosting coaching calls and other events. You can chill with your people, connect with your people. School has the landing page, so like your sales page for your copy, your video sales letter, your graphics, your social proof. It also has the payment processing for month to month, and it also has like an annual process. It doesn't have currently payments over $1,000. That's like the only thing I don't like about School right now. You can only have up to $1,000 per month, and I believe $5,000 per year. So that's unfortunate. But yeah, School, besides that, amazing. So basically, I found Hamza in November 2023, and I got super into self-improvement because of him. I was like, you know, starting to get into personal development around, it was around March or April of 2023 because of Captain Sinbad. That's my boy right there. But I really got like heavy into like self-improvement because of Hamza, and that was in November. So yeah, I found Hamza in November 2023, gotten super into self-improvement because of him, and so I naturally joined his program in December when I had the money to invest in myself, right? I've always been a big proponent of learning. That's why lifelong learning is one of the pillars of esoteric self-improvement. It's so important, right? You just heard me mention esoteric self-improvement. You're like, Jaden, what the hell is esoteric self-improvement? Well, that's basically my version of self-improvement. You know, talking about Hamza real quick, I joined Hamza's program, Adonis School, and I was telling you guys about that. And I love the Adonis School. And I'm going to talk to you, you know, a bit later about when I had to leave Adonis School, unfortunately. It was just because I couldn't pay for it. But, you know, there was starting to become like an identity shift in terms of like the culture of Adonis School. When I first joined, Hamza was like deeper on his like spiritual path because he was he had a girlfriend at the time, and his girlfriend was super spiritual, so he was like more in that like way superior man, like super like spiritual arc. And then he like that arc ended for him just because it didn't resonate with him anymore. And then he also decided that that relationship wasn't serving him anymore either. And you know, fair enough, those were his decisions, and I respected those decisions, and I definitely saw both of them as well. But that was like the first shift for me, because spirituality is super important to me, which is like why my target avatar is conscious creators. And we'll talk about what conscious creators means later. But basically, I believe that, and when I say I believe, I mean I know that everyone is on a spiritual path. You may hear me say that and be like, wait, what are you talking about, Jaden? Here's the thing. You have a soul. Period. Period. Let me ask you this. You have thoughts, right? But are you your thoughts? Are you your feelings? Are you your experiences? Are you your name? Are you this body? What if I cut your hand off right now? Would you still be you? Yeah, you just wouldn't have this hand. Your body wouldn't have the hand. That's fine. Okay, cool. What if I, you know, took away a couple of your memories? Would you still be you? Well, I don't know, Jaden. Well, here's the thing. You, as in the ego, the lowercase s self, that wouldn't be the same, because the ego is built off of experiences and thoughts and feelings and the culmination of these things. But the uppercase S self, the true self, the I am, the God self inside of you. Like I said, we get esoteric in here. And esoteric just means within. Esoteric is basically the mystical side of spirituality. And mysticism is about within, seeking the divine within yourself. Because God is within us all. God is within us all. I grew up Christian and I love mystical Christianity, but I would never try to like put that on anybody. But I quote the Bible and I quote Jesus a lot because Jesus is my guy. I think Jesus is the best. But I grew up and I didn't really resonate with fundamental Christianity, which is why I eventually moved to mysticism. And when I found mysticism back in April, that's when I really deep dived into my spiritual journey. And I got more into Buddhism and yoga as well. I started getting into yoga, and I'd been opening my eyes to that since last year when I started getting into personal development last summer through Healthy Gamer GG, Dr. K, because he makes a lot of content talking about yoga and Sanskrit and incorporating like spirituality into your mental health. And so I love Dr. K's approach to like merging science and spirituality, and that's something that I want to do as well. I see science and spirituality as two sides of the same coin. They're both disciplines of understanding the self, understanding the world, the world's people, understanding the universe. That's basically what science and spirituality both are. Except science is a bottom-up approach from the material plane to the spiritual plane, from the physical to the mental to the spiritual, right? It's a bottom-up approach. I said top-up. It's a bottom-up approach. But spirituality is a top-down approach from the spiritual plane, mental plane to the physical plane. And so it's kind of just, like I said, two sides of the same coin, polarity. What is it? The fourth law of Hermeticism is the law of polarity. All opposites are identical in nature, but different in degree. Science and spirituality are the same. They tell us the same things, but the approach and how they go about doing that just looks a bit different sometimes. But, a lot of the time they end up coming to the same conclusions. If you get into quantum mechanics, you'll understand what I'm talking about. Yeah. But basically, that rant was to emphasize the importance of like why I feel like spirituality isn't really a big part of self-improvement for a lot of people. And if it is, most people are just like religious. And like religion is cool. I'm not here to hate against anybody. I'm not here to judge. There's no judgment in my heart for any religion because I love and I appreciate what religion does for people. It gets people into spirituality. It gets people to love and to devote God and to know God. And I think that all religions, all philosophies, all spiritual practices, anything, all points to the same one truth of oneness, of God is the divine, God is all powerful, God is all loving, God is all knowing. All of these truths, God is one with all. And so, I was mentioning earlier, talking about, the Bible, talking about Genesis 1:26. I don't know if I actually said it, but we are created in God's image. You are the creator of your reality. And the thing is, I think that self-improvement can have this very negatively polarized belief and like viewpoint, and it's like very dualistic in my opinion. And I don't like that. I don't like that self-improvement kind of looks at you as like, when I got into self-improvement, it was like, oh, I'm a piece of shit. I don't want to be like this anymore. I don't want to fucking suck. I don't want to hate myself anymore. And it's like, yeah, that's fine. And you know what? If that's the fuel you have, boom, use that shit, baby. And that's cool. And it's okay to use that. And I'm never gonna play you if that's the fuel you got. That's awesome. But, there's something to say about burning dirty fuel forever. You can pump smog into the air for a while and it won't really make much of a difference. But after 100 years, global warming, right? Things start to shift. And so it's like, what fuel are you using long term? And that is where like esoteric self-improvement really comes in. It's where the real like esoteric philosophy comes in, of oneness, of true love, true service to others, the path of light working, conscious creation, right? This is why my people are conscious creators, right? I was talking about how we're all on a spiritual path. You are a soul. And your soul is on a journey of evolution. And see, from the absolute perspective, this is where esoteric self-improvement comes in. You know, like self-improvement says that I suck, I need to be better. Okay. And see, from the relative perspective of the soul, of the individual, I need to be better as like a linear thought of progression of like, improving and like advancing on my soul's journey. That actually does make a lot of sense, you know? But from the absolute perspective, from a non-dualistic perspective, this, from the perspective of God, let's say, the perspective of God is eternal. Time-space is a construct of the 3D plane. And so, or 40. Time-space is 40. But yeah, like I said, it's a construct. And the all, God is above that. God is above that construct. There is only eternity to God. And so to the absolute, right, from the absolute perspective, there is only simultaneous, realities coexisting at all times. Every single possibility is already happening and has already happened and is existing at the same time, right? It's kind of crazy. It's like past, present, and future. It's like past, present, and future are all coexisting at the same time, happening right now at the same time. That is what the absolute perspective looks like. And so from the absolute perspective, everything is already perfect. What is there to improve? What is there to change? Right? This is the everyone and everything is perfect perception. This is a part of it, at least. And the thing is, God's universe is perfect. God's will is perfect. It's the truth. Whereas, there we go. I got my journal here. Let me read you a quote real quick from the book of Enoch. It's one of the Gnostic texts that was left out of the Bible. There we go. Here it is. Wait. There we go. Okay, I'll read you both of these, actually. Ponder the earth and apprehend, through the culmination of its actions, the constancy of God's works. From inception to conclusion, no manifestation of God's creation undergoes change. And so when you think about that, it's like, oh, okay, so like from when it was created to when it ends, it actually is already like nothing changes, which means how it was created is how it already, like how it ends, that's how it always is. You get what I'm saying here? It's like it's always that. It was always that, and it always will be that. Here's another quote. There exists no alteration. All transpires as ordained by God. Okay, cool, awesome. So why does any of this matter? Well, the thing is, this is actually very fundamental to my purposeful productivity philosophy. This is very fundamental to how I help creators and entrepreneurs with leveling up their mindset so they can level up, in their creativity, in becoming a consistent and fulfilled creator, helping creators get more views on YouTube, helping creators make money online, whatever, you want that help with. You need to start here in the mind. Everything starts first in the mindset. Whether it's the idea, oh, I can do this thing, or I want to do this thing. Whether it's the, oh, I know I'm going to do this thing, I can do this thing. It's the, man, I don't even know if I can do this thing, but I'm going to fucking take action and see anyway. All of that starts right here. You can't act on something if you don't actually believe in it. All actions show what true belief is. Like, all actions show where you're aligned at. Everything you act out into the world can only come from feeling like this action is what's best, is like the best action because it feels aligned for what I want in the moment. You get what I'm saying? You wouldn't actually do something that you didn't feel like was benefiting you. Like, that's not how we're programmed. You can only do things that you believe are serving you. So why does that matter at all? Because the thing is, you create your reality with this right here, with your mind. The first law of Hermeticism is mentalism. The all is mind, the universe is mental. You can manipulate this mind. This 3D plane is mind. And you can manipulate it by manipulating this inner state. By manipulating your inner state, you can manipulate your outer reality. This is what's called the mirror principle. And the mirror principle talks about how we can create our outer world by changing our inner world. We can shift our external world by shifting our internal world, by shifting our identity, by shifting our thoughts, our beliefs, by shifting our emotional well-being, our state, right? Our state of being. By shifting these things, by adopting the identity, by adopting the beliefs, the programming, the emotions of the person that you should be, right? And not something that you're trying to strive by, but just your authentic self, right? In my opinion, self-improvement is truly just self-realignment. You're just going back to who you already are, and you're just evolving, realizing that self, trying to bring the highest version of yourself down to manifestation in the physical plane. That's what self-improvement is about. That's what esoteric self-improvement is about, at least. That's what I'm about here. If that resonated with you, drop a sub and leave. Man, we're so long into this video already, and we haven't even really talked that much about my story and business. I've been like rambling, talking about spirituality. Man, this is what I do here. If you guys like spirituality and like, obviously, if you're here, I'm sure you're into spirituality. Anybody who's heard me rambling about spirituality when they thought they were getting a business video probably wouldn't still be here. Technically, this video is about business, but it's about the mindset and the foundational, like the mindset and inner work you need for a business. Here's the thing, guys. I told you guys, I didn't make any money for 6 months because I was lacking this. You need this first. Everything starts in here. Let's continue. All right. So I found Hamza in November 2023, and I'd gotten super into self-improvement because of him. So naturally, I joined his program in December when I had the money to invest in myself. Why would I not? You know, Hamza is basically someone that I'm like 80% aligned with, you know, and that last 20% is like spirituality, even like degeneracy, casual sex. Hamza is kind of a slut, not gonna lie. And I've had my slutty and fuckboy times. I'm not gonna act like I haven't, but that's not something I'm really into anymore. But that's kind of like where that last 10-20% of misalignment is. But that 80%, man, yo, Hamza's my dude. You know, I watch all of his videos every day. But I joined Adana School to get deeper into self-improvement, to meet like-minded people, but especially so I could learn about YouTube and business to make my first $1,000 online through coaching. I learned a ton, and I stayed in Adana School from December 2nd until April 4th when I could no longer afford it. Right now, I'm going to read you my screenshot. And this was basically a DM between me and Danish. And Danish is Hamza's brother, who is the manager of Adana School. So I said, "Hello, Danish. Hope all is going well." This is on March, like towards the end of March. I couldn't, my payment for Adana School had gotten like declined at this point because I didn't have the money. And so I think a couple days later, I got like a follow-up email asking about it. And then like I reached out to Danish, like seeing if we could do something about it. "Hello, Danish. Hope all is going well. I've been in a tight spot in terms of finances and just realized that I won't have the money for my Adana School subscription on the 1st for payment." Oh, okay, so this is actually towards the end of March, and it would have been for the 1st. Okay, that makes sense. Because that was when the payment rolled out. Okay, cool. "I'm in talks with potential clients and have a call set for next Thursday for the potential sale. Would it be possible for me to pay the $99 next week instead, or do I have to just take the L and join back when I can get the $129? At that point, so I joined Adana School for $500, like I told you guys. And at that point, school actually hadn't had like integrated monthly payments yet. So Hamza was processing all of his payments through PayPal. And so you join for initial $500, and then you'd be on a $99 recurring after that. And then I think, you know, I joined in December, either towards the end of December or like mid-January, I think it was. Mid-January towards the end of January. Hamza changed his payments to $129 per month. And that was the integrated payments on school platform. So like if I'd left, I would have had to start paying $129 every month instead of the $99 I was currently paying. So I asked like Danish if I like could, you know, get an extension basically, or if I just have to take an L and pay the extra $30 when I could, like, hopefully if I had the money. And then I said, "Thanks for the help. Would love to stay in Adana School if possible, but I understand if there are technicalities." Danish had messaged me back and he said, "Hi, Jaden. Sorry to hear about that, brother. Can you please email customer service and briefly describe the issue you're facing and what you suggested? I can't guarantee a specific outcome, but I will see what we can accommodate. Thanks. And then I basically replied, said, thanks, I'm going to get on that right away. And then a few days later, here's how I responded. Hello, Danish. It's very likely that I won't have the money for Adonis School come tomorrow. My business meetings went well, but the terms that were negotiated led me to a spot where I currently don't have the money. Back then, I was doing videography. I don't know if I mentioned, but oh yeah, no, I didn't mention this yet. But I did some videography for a couple of millionaires. One of them, his name is Joe. He's a real estate investor and a hard money lender. And then the other one is Rich, and he has a construction business with his wife, and he's also starting a membership platform. And I'm actually a partner in that, and it's like a startup. So your boy's actually in some sauce, you know what I mean? Catch me in 5 years, yo. I'm making some moves, bro. Y'all don't even know. Y'all getting at the beginning. Okay. So I said, hello, Danish. It's very likely that I won't have the money for Donna's school, right? Meetings went well, but I don't have the money. Okay. When I got the email from the support team, they told me that you were willing to allow me to rejoin for $99 rather than $129. So basically, they hit me back, and they're like, yo, Jaden, even if you have to leave, you can just hit us back like an email, and we'll send you a PayPal link so you can just get back to the 99 instead of rejoining through school and paying the 129. So they kind of like threw me a bone for being a loyal member of Donna School, right? And I said that while that means so much to me because of the love I have for Donna School, I'm going to decline that opportunity. And I want you to know why. I want to use the situation as an opportunity to be extremely dissatisfied with my life so I can propel myself to the next level. It's unfortunate that I won't be able to maintain my subscription status now that masterminds are for 6-month members only. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Hamza had basically integrated like masterminds for members that were 6 months, and I'd gotten into 4 months. So I had like 2 months left, and I basically would have had to restart my progress. So that was annoying. But I'm gonna face the consequences of my past self. And what I meant by that was like my past self wasn't getting to work, so I didn't have the money at the point. That was my fault. I'd been in Adonis School for 4 months and I didn't make any money. Why? Because I was inconsistently taking action. Why? Because I had creativity blocks. Why? I'm telling you, it all comes back to this, baby. It all comes back to the authenticity, to the not feeling like I can express myself, not feeling like I could be vulnerable. Having those blocks on your expression. You know, creation is an expression of the self. Creation is an expression of who you are. Right? You take what's in here and you put it outside of yourself into, you know, you put it outside of yourself into a business, into a product, or you put it outside of yourself into a piece of art, or you put it outside of yourself into a piece of content. But whatever it is, that creation is an expression of the self. And there we go. Gotta make sure that comp's good, baby. That creation is an expression of the self. And, you know, like, this is why you're blocked, if you are blocked. Which is, you know, you most likely are. Most of us have blocks. You know, I'm not completely unblocked. But I've gotten to the point where the blocks that I do have are no longer hindering me being a consistent and fulfilled creator. And that's the point where I want to help people get to. You know, I don't believe that I can cure all your problems. I haven't cured all my problems. That's never how life's going to happen. You know, life is a constant cycle of problem, solution, problem, solution, problem, solution. Every solution leads to a problem. Every problem leads to a solution. Every solution leads to a problem. Every problem leads to a solution. It's constant. It's constant. That's how life works. And that's okay. That's actually the beauty of it. The beauty of the dance. You know, I was telling you about problem and solution cycle. That's the 5th law of Hermeticism. The law of rhythm. How many we got? That was 3 so far. We might talk about, man, you know, well, you know, if the other ones come up, they'll come up. We got 3 of 7 right now. So if the other ones come up, they'll come up. But, you know, like, I really, 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 really hated where I was at. And so I wanted to, like, be disgusted with myself almost, honestly. You know what I mean? And this is kind of like where esoteric self-improvement comes in, because that kind of fuel isn't, you know, healthy. But hey, use the darkness. If that's what you got, that's what you got, baby. And that's okay. You know what I mean? If that's how you got to start, that's cool. But the sooner we can get from darkness to light, that's the great. You know, actually, I think this is a great, like, analogy for this. The reason that I love this painting so much is because it represents what you can do with darkness. You know, Batman had darkness in him. Both Batman and Nightwing, if you don't know, Nightwing's the first Robin. Both Batman and Nightwing lost their parents when they were super young. Nightwing and Batman both used their darkness to fight crime and to help people. They used their darkness for the light. Okay, awesome. However, Batman operates almost solely in the darkness, and he stays there mentally. Nightwing knows how to work in the darkness, because that's where he was brought up. He was brought up in the darkness as the first Robin. But that's not him. He doesn't live in the darkness. He lives in the light, and he can wield it, but that's not his default state. And so I, really love that painting because it really symbolizes what you can do with darkness, and how even, if you do great things with it, it might still lead you. There are tons of super successful entrepreneurs who have used their fuel to make a fucking boatload of money. And you know what? They still hate their lives. Why? Because they have a void inside of them. And you can't fill darkness with more darkness. You can't fill a hole with more empty things. You get what I'm saying? People think that money is going to fill the hole when money isn't actually what what is bringing you that true meaning. It can't do that. Here's the thing. Everything you're desiring, every single thing that you desire, everything that you want is actually just one simple thing. Oneness. It's to experience and to know oneness. It's God. It's to know God. That is what you want. That is everything that you desire. To experience all that life has to offer, all of the infinite beauty of life, the infinite, tragedies of life as well. There is beauty in all of it. And I think that if you can find out how to use, how to leverage that darkness and to create beauty out of it, you'll be able to do powerful things. But you can't stay in that darkness forever. You can't let it live your life forever. Eventually, you have to switch to the light. You have to get conscious. You have to get aware. So, I basically declined Adonis School, allowing me to get back in as like a, grandfathered rate, basically, because I just wanted to be like dissatisfied. I was, I mentioned Hormozy earlier, and I talk about Hormozy a bunch, but Hormozy says that motivation comes from deprivation. How motivated you are is equally proportional to how deprivated you feel like you are. And so it's like, oh, well, what do you mean, Jaden? Millionaires and, billionaires, they have money, but they just want more. Wouldn't poor people want, the most, and so they, be motivated the most? Well, here's the thing. All of it's relative. Everything is subjective because everything is in here. Everything is in the mind. And so to somebody that's worth $1 million, but they hang around people who are worth $100 million, that's a $99 million discrepancy if you're comparing yourself to them. That's like, holy shit, that's insane. $99 million, that's fucking crazy. But to someone who's worth, let's say $50,000 versus someone that's worth $1 million, $950,000 is a lot smaller of a discrepancy than $99 million. In fact, it's about a 100th of it. And so it's like, in that instance, in their perspective, right, in their reality, that entrepreneur who hangs around people who are worth 100 million is more deprivated, which means they're more motivated to make money than the person who is, worth $50,000 in the case of being motivated to make $1 million. The subjective deprivation causes the motivation. And so I wanted to feel more deprived, so I was more motivated. I wanted to be so dissatisfied with where I was at that I'd have to move. Yeah, that's what I got right now. Let's continue reading this. I couldn't afford Adonis School anymore, and it sucked. Give me a second. I couldn't afford Adonis school anymore, and it sucked. I love being able to connect with like-minded guys, learn from Hamza's courses, and just overall feel like I belonged. I feel like that's super important. That's something about personal development, some self-improvement, and entrepreneurship. It can get lonelier than a bitch. It really can. Just when I felt like I had found my tribe after 5 months of solo grinding, right, from June, or July till November, I was like just solo grinding, right? So that's 5 months basically. And then in December, I feel like I finally found guys that I resonated with. I'd have my boys. I have amazing friends who I love. But a year ago, none of my friends were really on this timing. And that's okay. Everyone's on their path. Everyone's on their journey. Like I said, everyone's soul is on a journey. And where you are on your journey, that's completely yours, and that's completely valid, and I respect that. But if we aren't aligned in our current season, that's okay. And so like after I felt like I just found my tribe after 5 months of solo grinding, I felt cast out of society again because I couldn't afford it. I was back in the wilderness to hunt alone. But you know what? I made a promise to myself. A promise that I'd rejoin Adonis School with the money I made online through coaching. Adonis School taught me the YouTube and business tactics that I needed, and I was grateful. I knew that all that I had to do was implement what I'd been learning from Hamza the past 4 months and about business in general the last 8. I got into learning about business mainly through Hormozy in June of 2023. And then at that point, it was April. So that's 10 months, actually. It's actually changed now. Last 10, there we go. Okay. Unfortunately for me, from December 2023 to May 2024, I couldn't catch any game. Right? Entrepreneurship's a hunt, and you only eat what you kill. And unfortunately, I wasn't killing. I wasn't catching any game. I didn't make a single cent online, let alone $1,000. But in June, everything changed. Since May 15th, I've been posting daily about creativity, mental health, and spirituality. I launched my one-to-one coaching offer for purpose and creativity coaching. Let me actually write that. I didn't have that here. There we go. Okay. I didn't talk about this in the copy, but if I put this story in 2, this shit would be way too long. But I'll tell you guys, because I don't mind this video being way too long, because I already know it's going to be way too long, so it's cool. I'm honestly cool with... Ooh, you know what I should do? I'm going to put this video in, like, all my description. I'm going to be on, like, this E-Man shit. Because this really is, like, a VSL, I'm not going to lie. So if you watch this video, like... You'll, one, fuck with me because you'll know me. So you'll know if you resonate with me. And you'll most likely, like, if you're ready to take action and, like get to business, like, you're gonna buy the course. Because, like, you just gotten so much value, so much, like, of my story, so much of my perspective. And you've seen how not having the proper mindset and not having the proper inner work tactics and keeping that up can cause you to fall off. I fell off. I started getting no views on, not no views. I started getting low views on YouTube. I stopped making money online, right? Like from August, basically from the end of July to the beginning of October. So for basically 2 months, I didn't get any new sales. Any money I had made was from previous clients. And then even still, the money I made in October, I'd gotten that from 2 previous clients, 1 student that and then 2 students that I basically nurtured already, actually. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, I was talking about this. So since May 15th, I've been posting daily about creativity, mental health, and spirituality. I launched my one-to-one coaching offer for purpose and creativity coaching for spiritual creators to help them become consistent and fulfilled creators. That was what the initial offer was, which is basically like what my offer is now. It's more focused on mindset, in inner work, because those are the real like tools, those are the levers. And you know, if you understand like the mindset, everything starts in the mind, mirror principle, you can really understand like how internally shifting will shift your external. If you get that, you'll be able to level up. Trust. So yeah, that's where I'm at now. Okay, but yeah. And I launched that in my own school community, which was inspired by Adonis School, on June 1st, and I promoted it every single day on my YouTube videos, right? So I launched my school program on June 1st, and I'd been uploading daily for 2 weeks at that point, so May 15th, and I launched this. I didn't put this in here either, but I launched this purpose and creativity coaching offer, and I knew that people would resonate with this. One, because, you know, I felt convicted in it, and this was actually the first time of that. I'd had other offers, like I told you guys. I've been trying to be in business from December till May, right? But I didn't make any money until June. Why? That was because every offer I'd had from then, I didn't actually have conviction in. And we're going to talk about a bit more about that, but I didn't have any conviction in those. One, because I didn't believe in myself that I'd actually made a transformation that I could help people with. And two, I didn't actually like feel like I could deliver value to people. Like I wasn't really sure. I was feeling very insecure about myself. Even though I've always kind of been like the friend that, you know, people listen to for advice, come to for advice, the friend that's like the shoulder to lean on, the ear to, you know, to listen. I've always been that guy to come to for advice, you know, like the sage, the wisdom speaker, the listener, the person who's going to hold space for you, who's going to connect with you emotionally. That's always been who I am. And that's why I'm a coach. But basically I've been insecure in myself, but at that point in April, I had a friend from high school who I'd like reconnected with, and we had basically, she'd basically kind of become my first free client. Not even kind of, she literally became my first free client. I literally asked her if she was down, and she was down. So I like gave her homework, I gave her assignments, we had our calls and everything, and it was cool. And she really helped me gain that conviction in myself, because I helped her so much, like unlocking her mindset, finding things in her awareness, growing up with like her childhood, the traumas that she'd struggled with from her parents and her situation growing up, how those manifested in herself and her beliefs, having her like reprogram herself, catching herself in negative self-talk moments, and having her be conscious of those moments and be like, okay, no, I'm not this. I am loving, like I am love, I deserve love, I deserve to create, I deserve to be expressed, these kinds of things, right? Like really doing the work. And I saw a real change in her, and she really did change, right? She started creating again, and it was fucking awesome. She started writing stories again. She started drawing again. She used to love like acting and like being on camera growing up. She bought a camera again so she could like make videos. And it was just so fucking cool. It was like, holy shit, like that was my first like coach win for real. And it was just, man, like I'm like reliving that joy right now. Like I feel so proud of myself and for her for that. You know, like she did that work. That work was her. You know what I mean? Like, bro, like you know, when I say we get esoteric here, esoteric means within. All of us have the power for ourselves. We are all capable of doing the work ourselves. We are all capable of creating our reality. We all have the agency to create our reality. Genesis 1:26, let us create mankind in our likeness, let us create mankind in our image, in our likeness, right? Then God said, let us make mankind in our image, in our likeness. We are created in God's image. We are creators. We create realities. The Hermeticists said that God has an infinite mind, and that man has a finite mind, and that though they're similar in nature, they're infinitely different in degree. And what that means is that God has a mind that's capable of creating infinite realities with infinite possibilities. And though we also have the ability to experience infinite possibilities in our reality, we have just that, our one reality. God's finite mind is like infinity times infinity almost. Think about that. Infinity is not a number, but just think about that for a second, right? Infinite possibilities in infinite realities, right? Let's say a reality is like a universe, and this one universe has, let's say a universe could only have like 10 possibilities for some reason, right? Let's just think about that. Okay, so it's like one universe, 10 possibilities. Let's say that was the total number of like points in the universe. Let's just say, you know what I mean? We're just throwing shit out there. And so the higher the possibilities, right, the more power of the mind. The more realities you can create, obviously the more power of the mind. And so God can create infinite realities, infinite universes. And within those infinite universes, they can have infinite possibilities. So it's like infinity times infinity for their score, right? For the universes that God's created. Like that's God's mind score. And so we also have the, infinity from creating infinite possibilities. We can do anything, unless it's like literally outside, the realms of, this physical plane. We are limited to the construct of space-time, unfortunately. But outside of that, we can create this reality. But it's just this one reality, just our own reality. And so that's the finite mind. But regardless, you are the creator of your reality. You have the agency. And you need to understand that you need to get out of victim consciousness and you need to get into creator consciousness if you want to be an entrepreneur. You have to. You can't fundamentally believe the world does things to me, but you're trying to do things that create change in the world. You get what I'm saying? If the world does things to you, that means that the world has power over you, right? You get what I'm saying? But if you do things to the world, that means you have power over the world. You have power over your reality, which you do. But it's all about your perception, because your perception creates your reality. What you believe to be true, what you put emotional conviction behind, is materialized into your physical plane. That's what happens. And so you need to have the correct mindset. You need to have the correct beliefs, the correct inner world to experience the outer world of your desire. And that is where mindset comes in. That is why I'm a mindset coach. Okay, awesome. But I was getting into all of that, and I don't remember exactly where I started at, but I know that I wanted to talk about God. Because, I'd been on self-improvement, personal development since last July, right? But until April, I felt like I just kept hitting a wall. And I didn't really know why. Everything just felt so fucking hard. It just felt so fucking hard to make progress. And then one day I was at the park. And I just realized, I was like, oh shit, I've been trying to do this without God. And it was just like this, like, almost like childlike understanding of like, oh, of course I can't do this alone. This reality is so fucking huge with its infinite possibilities. How could my limited mind, right? How can my limited consciousness possibly grasp the infinite possibilities of my reality? It can't. And so what do I need to do? I need to tap into the infinite consciousness of Source, the infinite love, the infinite wisdom, the infinite strength, the infinite power of God. I need to tap into that level of consciousness, that frequency. I need to allow that to be in myself. I need to be one with that presence. I need to be one with existence. I need to be one with that frequency, one with that emotion, one with that state of being. And if I can be one with that, if I can be one with God, if I can experience God in the now, if I can be one with reality now, if I can be one with all right now, I can experience God. And if I can be all with God, if I can experience all of God's oneness, if I can expand my consciousness, I can make things happen that wouldn't have been able to happen on my own. There you go. There was a sermon that I listened to a few months ago by a pastor who I really love. His name is Pastor Darius Daniels. And he was talking about Solomon and how when Solomon became king, he felt inadequate. And so God asked him, he was like, well, ask me for what you would desire. What would you like to have? And so instead of asking God for, wealth or women or, anything of the world, anything material, he asked God for wisdom to lead his people. And so basically, like, proud of Solomon, right? God says, good one, child. For your selfless decision to grow in your own wisdom to serve others, where I heard before, wisdom isn't for yourself, it's for others. I'm like, that's great. To ask for wisdom for yourself, to ask for wisdom to serve others, right? I'm going to give you that wisdom, and I'm also going to give you the riches and the glory. And so not only did he get the immaterial things that truly matter, but he also manifested abundance because he already had those things. When you live in alignment with how God created you, when you live in alignment with your authentic self, when you live in alignment with your truth, with your true nature, you will attract that abundance. You will attract that abundance. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You will attract those material things that you desire. You will manifest that money. You will attract those people. You will attract that partner. You will make that muscle. Right now I've been training for the last week, and it's interesting. I say everything starts in the mind. It's like, oh, well, making muscle starts in the mind too, Jaden? Absolutely. What do you mean? The only way to make muscle is to train really, really hard, right? To like literally get to the point where like your body like is destroying. It hurts. It's destroying itself. You're literally destroying your body so it can break apart and then repair and grow itself and be bigger. That's literally what you're doing. And the only way you could destroy your body is by willingly destroying your body, by actively doing it in here. I'm pushing through. Yesterday I was hitting I went to the gym yesterday, right? And so basically I've been hitting my dumbbell curls. Hit my dumbbell curls, right? And so I started and I hit a set of 25. I did 2 sets of 25. And then I wanted to go for a set of 30. I'm not gonna lie, those 2 sets of 25 was getting me. And I wanted to go for a set of 30. And so I hit one. I'm like, okay, boom, right. Oh, fuck, got that bitch up. Bro, I tell you, I tried to go for this left one. I'm like, oh, shit. Like, I stopped and I couldn't. I'm like, fuck. I tried to go again. I'm like, oh, fuck. I'm like, oh, shit. I'm like, okay, hold up. I gotta lock in. Come on. I can get this one out. And I'm like, it was that deep, bro. You know what I'm saying? That's how you gotta be, bro. You have to fucking destroy yourself. And you only do that shit if in here you're saying, I'm doing this. I'm getting this one up. I'm getting this last one. I can go one more. I can go 2 more. I can push this. I can get this weight up. I can push myself. I can train hard. I can go crazy. I can do the work that's required to get the result that I want. I can do it. All of that starts right here. All of it. That is why I'm a mindset coach. Okay, cool. So, basically, it's June 1st. I launched my offer. I'm promoting it every single day in my daily uploads. Right? I finally feel like I'm actually making traction because I'm moving. Right? I feel like I can actually rely on God. I feel like I can actually make moves because I'm not trying to do this alone anymore. Right? I'm actually making progress. I'm feeling good about life. Everything's amazing. And then 11 days later, my entire world shifted. On June 12th, 2024, I made my first $16.21 online with only 187 subscribers on YouTube. Within the next week, I'd gotten 2 more sales at the same price. 3 sales, 300 subs. I'd made my first 50-ish internet dollars, converting on 1% of my audience like I saw my peers do time and time again in Adonis School. The thing is, I knew I can convert on 1% of my audience because I saw people in Adonis School doing it all the time. Right? I was seeing guys who were averaging 50, 100 views a video, signing clients, right? Making sales, getting course sales, getting coaching sales, selling their ebook, like shit like that. I was seeing it happen. And so I knew I could do it. And you can do it too. I'm literally telling you that I've done it, right? So you know I've done it. And I'm literally telling you right now that I was only able to do it because I saw other people doing it over and over and over again. And since then, I've seen more people do it over and over again. You know what I mean? Guys, this shit is possible for everybody. It's just like, are you actually willing to do it? Do you actually want this? And so I made my first 50-ish internet dollars with YouTube, and I was just like, woo, let's go, Wi-Fi money, we out here, baby. You know what I mean? It was hype. And if you thought I was lit then, wait and see what happens next. July 4th, $97, 450-ish subs, new client, right? July 6th, new client, $200, 500-ish subs. July 7th, new client, $197, 600-ish subs. July 9th, new client, $197, 695 subs. July 13th, new client, $497, 750-ish subs. So those first 4 sales were for the month, and then the last sale was for the 3-month package total. That was 5 sales from July 4th to July 13th. 9 days, 5 sales, $1,200. Holy fuck, I just made my first $1,200 online in 9 days. What the fuck? So I was popping off on YouTube a bit, and I was able to take convicted action that allowed me to convert 1% of my audience. And that was when I did it. On July 19th, I fulfilled my 3.5-month promise to myself. It was a surreal moment. I got to share my stories and lessons from the wilderness, and I became a mini celeb in my first week. It was kind of cool. It was pretty cool joining that, being back in the Donna school. And I'm not gonna lie, it was. I feel like more than anything, it was just like super cool to like feel like I'd accomplished something that I knew I could do, that I set out for, I made it happen, and then I like told the boys, and the boys were like hyped for me. That was like the best feeling. Actually, yo, I didn't even put this in here, bro. I literally actually I'll literally play it in the video, but I made like a post talking about like my story coming back, and Hamza actually saw it and recorded like a little like endorsement, basically congratulating me. So I'll play that right now. Hamza even left me and nah, I'm not gonna lie, bro. There's genuinely nothing that feels like as good as like being congratulated by like your mentor. Like when I bro when dog you don't like I don't even it's like it's kind of even like hard to just say this shit. When I rejoined Adonis school, bro, it was so fucking cool, bro. Like hearing Hamza say like congratulations, bro, like your hard work is like really paid off, and like you made a lot of progress. It's like, bro, that shit is just so fucking like meaningful to me, bro, because I really looked up to Hamza, and it felt like such a stamp of evidence has been imprinted into my journey. And it's like, bro, you fucking did this shit, Jay. Like, you made shit happen. Now keep working hard. Keep getting after it. Keep going, baby. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of fell off because, like I told you guys, I hit my container, and then I started, like, letting the darkness came in, ego came in. Oh, I'm not good enough. Like, the low self-esteem, the self-worth came back in. It's attaching my self-worth to externals. All that shit came back in. It started getting bad again. But, I mean, like, dude, I like, nothing feels better Like nothing felt better than like seeing Hamza Ahmed had commented on your post, like, and like that he like sent the video, because Hamza like basically always recorded videos, like Loom videos for like comments, because it's just easier than writing. The dog, like, it was just so fucking sick. It was so cool, man. Okay, yeah, let me stop being a fanboy. So yeah, I had Hamza like congratulate me for rejoining and like for, you know, making the $1,200 in 9 days. And I also had someone reach out because he wanted YouTube coaching, right? Like someone in Adonis school like hit me up in the DMs. And so I was like, yo, I just hopped on a call with him for free so we could talk business. Like he wasn't interested in like a month to month. He just wanted to like, he saw my story like in the stuff I posted. And so he was just interested in like learning more so he could get sales. So I just hopped on a call with him so we could talk business. And it was cool, man. You know what I mean? Like it was awesome. And like all of that was because I learned how to take convicted action, right? Emotional conviction, like I told you guys. That was aligned with my true self, my authentic self. Maybe you've been trying to make money online. Maybe you haven't yet. It doesn't matter. You will never, okay? I'm gonna say that again. You will never make money online without the authenticity and the conviction that is required. It is a fucking requirement to be authentic and to be convicted. It's a requirement. It's like, you can't not be yourself and expect to attract results that you want to attract. And you also can't not believe in what you're doing, because then it won't work. And so how do you reclaim your authenticity and stand convicted in your truth? Inner work. Boom. That's how. My timeline hasn't been as accelerated as it was in June and July due to losing momentum since I stopped doing inner work consistently. I stopped journaling consistently. I stopped meditating, contemplating. I stopped going on unplugged walk consistently. Those are like my 3 like biggest like inner work tactics that I like to help people with. There are obviously like variations you can do. There are questions you can ask yourself. There are ways to be more intentional with those practices. But like overarching unplugged walks, like actually connecting with nature, connecting, like being outside, being able to feel the environment, be connected with oneness, take some conscious breaths, even stuff like that. Meditation, contemplation, doesn't even have to be like breath work meditation. It can literally just be like closing your eyes and sitting in the chair. It can be closing your eyes and laying down. Don't sleep. But, you know, closing, like just being still, like doing nothing, being still. Meditation, walking, journaling is also very, very good. Journaling is awesome because journaling, I like to say that journaling gets your thoughts out of here and gets them into like reality, right? It makes them real. And then it's like, once they're real, or physical at least, once they're physical, doesn't actually necessarily mean they're real. But once they're physical, you have that separation from them, right? They're no longer just in the mind. They're actually physical on a piece of paper or something, or you know, even if you typed it up. Physical journaling is definitely better. And there are mental benefits to like handwriting compared to using a keyboard or some shit. But getting it physical or digital, whatever, regardless, getting it out of the mental, gets separation between that, and that space allows you to have a bit of a separate perspective, a bit like higher perspective, a different type of awareness that allows you to like take on a perspective that allows you to consider something that can get you to the solution you want to get to. Okay, there we go. Basically, the point I was trying to get to is, I'm sure we've all heard the quote, you can't, the Einstein quote, you can't solve a problem with the same consciousness that created it. And so it's like, okay, if I'm in this like mental state and I'm trying to solve a problem, but I keep like staying trapped in this mental state, how about I write about this, right? Let's get it out of here. Let's get it out of my head, get it onto the paper, and then let's have some like space, let's feel. And then we can come back to that. Like, this is why reviewing your journal is so powerful. We can come back to that with a different set of awareness, in a different state of consciousness, right? A different state of mind. And you'll be able to view that with a different lens, and you can probably get to a solution. You can take a path. I don't know why that was so hard to explain. Okay. But that's really the importance of doing inner work consistently, right? That, you know, you can have those methods of unplugged walks, of meditation, of journaling, but you have to keep doing them, because if you stop, you'll stop expanding your container, right? Think about inner work as your ability to expand your container, right? If you have, let's say, okay, so we all have the capacity for infinite possibilities, right? But we have boxed ourselves based on our programming, based on our mindset, our beliefs, the way we were brought up, the school system, education, parents, religion, anything, whatever it is. We've boxed ourselves. And so there's a certain level of expansion that has to go on if we want to get from where we are in this box to where we want to go, which is our goals, right? You have to expand. You have to move the box. You have to first step into the unknown so you can explore the unknown and then make it the known. And so how do you do this? Through inner work, through stepping into the unknown, through learning, through constantly introspecting, right? I like to say that you can expand your awareness through having other people tell you what it is, which is like learning like from somebody else, or by finding what it is yourself, which is like introspection and experimentation. And you need experimentation either way, like you need to try things out that other people tell you to do. But regardless, introspection always comes with experimentation. You might learn something and then implement it and it just works right away. And that's not really an experiment. That's kind of just, I did this and it worked. Kind of an experiment because you didn't know if it was going to work, but likewise. You have to constantly keep doing the inner work, right? Because if you don't, you're gonna hit a point where you stop expanding your container, right? Your light basically stops, and that capacity for light, your container, your capacity for light is your capacity to hold space, let's say. And that space or energy, right? To hold energy, that's actually probably a better term, will block you. Money is energy. Creativity is energy. Love is energy. Everything that we want, everything that is moving, everything is energy. And so if we're limited in our capacity to hold energy, to manipulate energy, we won't be able to reach the things that we want to reach if those require an amount of energy that we don't have. And so we have to do the work to move to that level of energy to do the things that we want to do, to have the money that we want to have, to create the things that we want to create, to have the partner that we want to have. Okay, awesome. So how do we get there? Inner work, exploring the darkness, exploring the unknown, exploring the wilderness, and having it no longer be the wilderness, but be home, be the forest that I know. And I always found it like super cool how people like know forests. It's like, oh yeah, I know this tree, I know this like dirt path and like stuff. I never really conceptualized that and like understood that, but that's because experientially I don't have that. But to somebody who grew up in the forest, it's like, oh yeah, of course. Like, what are you talking about, Jake? You see what I'm saying? And so it's like based on where you're at, there's a different level, there's a different approach. And so it's going to take a different amount of work based on what your goal is. And so when it comes to expanding ourselves and to reaching our goals, we have to constantly keep doing the work, because even if we hit a goal, that's just a pedestal. Every goal that we hit is just a peg up on the ladder of self-actualization. You know what I mean? Leading us on a path of soul's evolution. And so you think that a goal is going to make you happy, when in actuality, the progress is what make you happy, right? It's not about standing on this peg. It's about moving up the mountain. And so you think that hitting this goal is what's going to make you happy, when in actuality, hitting the goal is really just, the goal is truly just a marker for your consciousness, right? The goal says, okay, I want to get to this level of consciousness because I want this experience. In order to have this experience, in order to experience this level of consciousness, I need to do this amount of work, this amount of expanding to be able to hold that energy, hold that space, and to be able to frequency to experience that experience. Third Hermetic principle, vibration. Nothing rests, everything moves, everything vibrates. Everything is always constantly moving, everything is always constantly vibrating. Everything has a frequency. Quantum physics teaches us this. When you go down to the molecular level, you see that atoms are constantly moving all the way back and forth, super fast, super fast, super fast. That is what matter is like. Matter is moving super quickly, but it appears still. Just like the earth. Learning in science class when you were like super young, elementary, middle school, how the earth spins around super quickly, but it's observed and perceived as still because to the naked eye, we can't see how fast it's moving. Everything is always moving. Everything is constantly vibrating. Just because you're perceiving it doesn't matter. And so if something is vibrating, that must mean, a vibration is like a singularity. But vibrations compound over time into a frequency. And that frequency that frequency represents many things. Frequency is consciousness, so the higher the frequency, the higher of consciousness. Frequency is light. The higher the frequency, the more light. Frequency is density. The higher the frequency, the higher the density. Dense of what? Dense of light. The higher the frequency, the higher the light, the higher the density, the higher the energy. You see what I'm saying here? And so your reality, what you want to have, the money you want to make, the things you want to create, whatever it is, the partner you want to have, the muscles you want to make, whatever that is at a frequency. And what you have to do is you have to internally become that frequency so you can attract it. This is the law of correspondence. As above, so below. Similar to the law of correspondence. As above, so below. As below, so above. Two things can only be attracted to each other if they're alike, if they're one. And these two things can only be attracted to each other if they're alike, if they're one, if they're actually, at the same level. And so it's like you can only attract something that you already are. A magnet can only attract a magnet. A magnet can't attract a piece of paper. Do you get what I'm saying here? So it's like you have to be what you want to attract. You have to be the reality you want to attract. You have to be at that frequency internally. And then when you are that internally, your external reality shifts, right? It starts collapsing. It starts moving through space-time. And it starts moving through the possible, all the infinite possibilities, all the infinite realities. And then eventually, once you've maintained that frequency for long enough, it collapses into your material reality. And your goal is achieved. What you want is actualized. Your manifestation occurs. And that comes from starting in the inner world, maintaining a frequency until that frequency materializes into your reality. And all of that comes through emotion and emotional conviction and holding that knowing and taking action in that knowing. And that is why I said emotion, right? Emotional conviction and aligned action, authenticity, right? I'm taking actions that I believe in and I know that they're going to work. That is what it is. That's what's going to make you happen. That's what's going to make you your first $1,000 online. It's the knowing that I can do it, and it's the knowing that what I'm doing will work and it's going to give me what I want. Sorry about my dogs. Let me go tell them to shut up. Quiet! Okay, cool. So yeah, that super important. All right, let's continue. So to this day, I've made 14 sales. Oh, excuse me, that's gross. To this day, I've made 14 sales, 9 coaching clients, 4 courses, 1 coaching call, and I have 1,286 subs. I've converted on 1% of my audience, right? 1% of my audience, so I have 14 sales, that would have been converting 1,400 people. Now, technically, I've actually gotten 12 individuals. No. Okay, no, that's not true. I've gotten 10 individuals who have bought from me, and then I've gotten 14 sales. So if we're looking at like people to audience, then I'm slightly over 1%. But if we're looking at sales to audience, then I'm doing slightly under. No. It was the other way around. So if I'm looking at people to audience, then I'm doing slightly under 1%. If I'm looking at sales to audience, then I'm looking at slightly over 1% in terms of my personal conversion. Cool. I made those numbers work for me, and I know that they can work for you if you implement what I have to teach you in the course. Those numbers worked for me. I saw those numbers work for countless people in Donna School, like I told you guys. I know that this is possible. It's so possible if you just have this right, and you also have, knowledge, experience, positioning that makes you authentic, that makes people want to have what, hear and experience what you have to hear and blah, 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 blah. As long as you have skills and wisdom that people find valuable, which I'm sure you do, then you'll be able to make money. You'll be able to make that as long as you have the internals correct. Cool, there we go. Although I've been able to make my first $1,800+ online from June 24 rather, so June 2024 to October 2024, it took me 6 months of $0 from December to May because I didn't know then what I know now. That I was never gonna make any money online because I was missing the two simple things back then: authenticity in my actions and conviction in myself. I was missing both. Why? I was blocked. I was blocked for 10 years due to low self-esteem, damaged relationship with parental figures. When I say parental figures, I mean mainly my maternal grandmother and then my dad, and then like there was also some stuff with my mom. Not to say like I've never had like beef with any of my parents. I love my parents, and I've healed a lot of those things largely now. I'm not gonna act like there aren't things that aren't in my awareness, because I'm sure there aren't things that aren't in my awareness right now. But I've made a lot of that conscious, and I've healed a lot of like my parental wounds, which has allowed me to unblock and start, like I said, be a consistent and fulfilled creator. Okay. So I had these blocks from low self-esteem, damaged relationships with parental figures, not feeling comfortable expressing myself, and attaching my self-worth to external outcomes. Some of this came from my relationship with my grandmother, when, sometimes I try to come to her with sadness or anger, and I'd like have my feelings invalidated. Oh, you shouldn't feel that way, suck it up, stop being sad, boys don't cry. So I kind of like felt like, oh, okay, so if I'm sad or angry, it doesn't matter. I'll just have to like suck it up and bullshit. Like, okay, so what I feel doesn't matter. Cool. And then, my parents are separated, and growing up, I lived with my mom and my grandparents. So my mom and my maternal grandparents, which is like my maternal grandmother, who I was just talking about. They're not very affectionate people. And because my grandparents they didn't grow up with affectionate parents, meaning my mom didn't have affectionate parents. And because I grew up with my mom and her parents, I didn't really have that much affection most of the time in my household. Unless I was living with my dad, or I was at my dad. But up until I was 10, I literally only saw my dad every other weekend. And then when I was 10, I'd go like a week on, a week off. And then by that time, the dynamic was already weird because I felt very uncomfortable at my dad's a lot of the time because there was so much chaos a lot of the time because I have so many siblings. Sometimes there would be 6, 7 of us trapping it in a 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom apartment, like literally. And that's how it was for us until my dad and my family moved down here to Georgia back in 2017. And I actually moved down here with them for a year, and then I left because I didn't feel comfortable with it. And then I came back down here last year after I said fuck college, and I don't know what the fuck I'm doing with my life, but I want to change that, and I want to get on YouTube, and I want to pursue things. So that's what I did last year, and so I decided to come back down to Georgia. But besides all that, I really just felt like, growing up, it was hard for me to be myself. It was hard for me to express myself, and I felt like I didn't have much affection besides from my dad. And so I felt that unconditionality. I felt that conditionality of love. And I felt like the most of the time I felt praised or I got love was when I did something. And that was usually in the form of grades. So growing up, I was a super killer in math and science, and I love math and science. And I did really good in school. I always had like A's and B's most of the time until high school. In high school, I started getting C's and D's because I started getting depressed and shit. So, but growing up, I always had A's and B's. Like I literally didn't get my first C until freshman year of high school. So I whenever I would bring home report cards, so I actually didn't even have like letter grades. My like elementary school had like number grades. So I didn't have letter grades until middle school. But once I started bringing home report cards in middle school, it was over for me. Because I'd bring that bitch home, right? And it'd be like, oh shit, A, B, B. And it's like, hold up. It's like, hey, you got those 3 A's, these B's is kind of cool. Here's some money, you can get a game, we're proud of you. But, hey, those two B's could be two A's. Let's keep it a stack, right, Jay? And I'm like, I guess, you know what I mean? It's like they could be if I gave a fuck, but I don't give a fuck, so I don't know here. It's like we're doing something, you know what I'm saying? I didn't give a fuck about those other classes. I gave a fuck about math and science, and so I showed up for them. Here's the thing, I never did homework. I like damn near never did homework. If I could do homework in class, I did that. But why am I working at home? Like I just did work at school for like, and the thing is, like, bro, I was just talking about this with the fam yesterday. Bro, my elementary school and my middle school used to have us in school from 7 o'clock to 5 o'clock, my nigga. Like, do you get what I'm saying right now? Yeah, like, I just busted an N-word out. Like the Newark is coming out of me right now, because that shit is crazy, dog. What are we saying right now, bro? 7 to 5, bruh. That's a 10-hour shift, dog. Like, what are we talking about, my nigga? That's crazy. Niggas got kids in school for 10 hours? That's, nah, bro. Nah. So, it's like, when I'm in the crib, when I'm home, my nigga. Like, I'm not doing no homework. Fuck all the bullshit. I'm playing the game. Feel me? So, that was the time when I was on at school. When it came to, like, homework and shit. But I was always doing classwork, and I especially, like, I was an ace when it came to tests. This is why I could always maintain A's and B's with, like, basically never doing homework or only doing homework occasionally, because my tests were like A. Like, I was a fucking killer on tests, bro, because I was just a sponge. I was a sponge of knowledge. Always have been, always will be, baby. Lifelong student shit. Lifelong learning. It's another pillar of esoteric self-improvement. Shit. I'm pretty sure we talked about holistic health, right? I think, I don't remember. Anyway, the three pillars of esoteric self-improvement are lifelong learning, holistic health, and conscious creation. You like my alliteration, right? But basically, yeah, I grew up doing really well in school, you know, in math and science especially, because I really love those classes. And those are actually, like, you know, talking about that's actually a really, like, foundational principle for purposeful productivity, which is my philosophy on, like, productivity and, like, working. And I'll talk more about that later, because that's very important to the purposeful entrepreneurship foundation, like the philosophy as well, and, like, actually making your money through business, whatever. But basically, I would come home, right, and I would be like, okay, like, when I this is basically like how I would feel when I talk to my grandparents, or, you know, the aftermath of you could do better than A's, and, like, you could have all A's, right? Basically, it would make me feel like what I had wasn't good enough. It'd make me feel like, oh, what I'm producing isn't good enough. It's like the work I'm doing isn't good enough. It's like enough of those repetitions, you start to believe it's not the work, it's just me. Like, I'm not good enough. I can't be better. Like, I have to be better. I have to be better. I have to be better. And, like, inherently, if you're telling yourself, I have to be better, that inherently means that you're lacking something. And this lack of consciousness starts creating separation in ourselves. And that leads us down a dark, dark path of ego consciousness. And that's where I went. So around, like, 10 years old, that's when I like to say, like, I really started getting into ego consciousness. I stopped drawing. I stopped dancing. And this was a culmination of a few things. One was my being insecure about my skill in art and dancing. I also stopped really making YouTube videos at this time. So I started making my first, guys, I've been in the YouTube game for 12 years. February 24th, 2012 was the first time I posted a YouTube video. 12 and a half years I've been in this shit. I've made probably close to 600 videos in my time. And so, you know, about a year and a half into the YouTube game, I, like, stopped around, like, 10, like, middle school. Like I said, you guys, that's when it really started, you know? And I also started getting, like, super, like I started developing more social anxiety. I, like, closed myself off from talking to girls. I'm not gonna lie. I try to play this off, but this is actually a big part of my journey. When I was 8 years old, right, I had this girlfriend. Her name is, should I say her real name? Let's not do that. I'm just gonna say I had this girlfriend in elementary school. And I like, man, she was my girlfriend since first grade, bro. So we were in the same class, kindergarten, first grade, and second grade. I'm pretty sure we were in the same class, not third grade, but fourth grade too. Um, and I was glad because, man, if I had to be in the same class as her third grade, man, that should have been. No. Actually, I lied. She was definitely in my class in third grade. Damn, were we in the same class every year? Huh, we were. Anyways, damn, that's funny. Oh yeah. Because I was totally trying to get her back fourth grade. She was not with it. All right, yeah. Okay, I remember where we were going. But basically, in second grade, right? My girlfriend of like a year at the time, she had dumped me, and she did it using her best friend at the school dance. So we were having like a dance, and it was like this winter festival type shit, and it was cool. It wasn't like a dance really. It was more of a winter carnival or some shit. But music was playing. We were like dressed up. It was kind of like a winter semi-formal type shit. And so she has her like best friend who's also my homie, by the way. Like her best friend who's also my homie. Like I'd known her like her best friend who's my homie, right? So the messenger basically. I'd known the messenger since daycare, since I was 3 years old, bro. That's one of my longest known like friendships. And so she used like her messenger to break up with me. And that shit was just like traumatizing, bro. I'm not gonna lie. Not the act itself, but the fact that like the messenger came up to me and said, "Your girlfriend wants to break up with you." And I'm just like, I never got a reason, bro. Like she never told me why. And I feel like I carried that for so long. I didn't bring this into my awareness until last December. And I was carrying this for so long, and then last December I like brought this back into my awareness, and I had seen that. And I was like, yo, I'm not gonna lie, bro. That's definitely like a trauma. That's definitely a root for like my insecurities in relationships with women. Because like ever since then, like I gotten super anxious about talking to girls or about like being in a relationship. Cause it's like, oh, what if she leaves? Like I had such bad like attachment issues, like really, really bad. And honestly, we're just gonna keep it a stack real quick right now, bro. Like let's just fucking keep it a buck. If you're in this video for honestly, hold up. How long has this been? If you're here an hour and a half in, you're a fucking real one. So I'm just gonna keep it straight with you guys, bro. That Aaron, right? I mentioned Aaron earlier. That was my partner. Aaron and I got married. We didn't have a legal marriage. But we basically we had like our own little ceremony, right? And we got married and we had like our conscious union in front of God, with God as our witness, basically. That's how it was. And looking back at it, right? You know, we've since separated. And you know, fortunately we never got our papers done, so we didn't have to get like an annulment or anything. So we didn't have to go through any of that process. But basically looking at that now, like I was reflecting about a month ago. This was actually before we even broke up, and I was like, yo, I'm not gonna lie, dude. And it's because I saw like me wanting control over Aaron manifesting in our relationship. And I kind of just had to bring this into my awareness. I'm like, yo, I'm not gonna lie, bro. I might have jumped into this marriage like unconsciously because I wanted to make sure Aaron wouldn't go, because I know she's a good woman. Like Aaron's an amazing woman. And I just like, although like this was like not in my awareness at all, like this like thought of, oh, I'm gonna like lock this down almost, it had to be like considered as a perspective that was like a possibility. And it does honestly resonate. Like saying this out loud to you right now, it's like, I'm not gonna lie, like I'm feeling something feel like lighter on my heart and in my chest by saying this, because I feel like this is actually just the truth. Like I do genuinely feel like I jumped into that relationship not too quickly, but I got like super locked in, like super head first too quickly, because I was moving and I felt like I wanted Erin to come with me, and I was gonna be like scared if she didn't, so I felt like I had to like make sure she was, you know what I mean? And this wasn't conscious at all. And I was like, I felt like I was completely in alignment with love when I was like making these decisions with Erin, when we were talking about this and we were doing these things together. We both felt like completely in alignment with love, and we felt like we weren't running away from anything. It wasn't like ego, but like looking back, you know, just having some humility, like, and some, you know, some humility, like just looking at it through a humble lens. Like, I see that, like, I'm like, yeah, some ego definitely got through there. I'm not gonna lie. Some ego definitely got through there. And it's like, now my perspective for relationships is like completely shifted. It's like, even if someone did try to come along now, I probably wouldn't do anything. Like, I'm like, yeah, nah. Like, as much as I actually like very much value a wife and children, I'm actually not looking, I'm basically like not entertaining women at all, because I know that right now I'm not the man I want to be that basically deserves to have the wife that I want to have. Do you know what I'm saying? I felt like I wasn't able to serve Erin. I wasn't able to show up for her as I wanted to, because I couldn't even show up for myself. I've been on personal development for 15 months. Like, I'm 20 years old, okay? And so, like, I've basically only been living for myself for 2 years. And I've only been, like, consciously trying to actually do something with my life for a year and, like, a quarter, right? Going on, like, a year and a half. And I've only been actually doing something with myself for, like, 6 months, 5 months. And at the time that I'd made that decision with Erin to have this conscious union, I was like 3-4 months into like actually doing things and showing up for myself consistently. I was asleep for 19 and a half years, and I thought that 6 months of time was going to do something for me. I mean, it did, and it has, and it served me. Because it served me, it doesn't mean it can serve me and her. Do you get what I'm saying? And so it's like I took on too much and I froze, and that was bad. And so I had to get up out of there. And it's not some like running away shit, but it's like, nah, I had to refocus. And like Erin and I both felt like neither one of us could show up for this relationship how we wanted to. Neither one of us felt like we could mutually be there for each other. Neither one of us felt like we were really serving each other the best way we could for our goals, right? And we both felt like it would actually be best for our growth and for what we want, for our desires, if we move forward separately. It was a very conscious, a very mutual decision. So I like to say that Erin and I had a conscious union and a conscious ununion, and that's cool. That's cool. Or conscious de-union. I'm not sure what prefix to use there. So yeah, that ramble kind of happened because I was talking about my insecurities growing up and the things I've struggled with in my journey. So yeah, those are things about me. You know, growing up, attaching my self-worth to externals because I had unconditional love and affection growing up, and because when I did get that love, a lot of it was because of my grades and performing well. And then even if I did perform well, it's like, oh, but you could still be better, right? And so it's like my love was already conditional, and then when it did come, there was still a caveat to like, oh, but you could get more love maybe if you did this, if you were better, right? You know, you get what I'm saying here? You can see how this could program somebody over fucking 4 years of fucking semester after semester after semester of report cards. Actually, it was quarter. I had quarterly report cards in middle school. So every single quarter I was coming home, hey Jay, here's money for a game, but you still kind of suck. Be better. Obviously, they never used those words, but that's how it felt. And that's damaging, man. That's damaging. And so, you know, my my childhood girlfriend sending our friend to break up with me, and me never getting a reason why. Me, you know, feeling like the love I could receive was conditional, because I only either got unconditional love from my dad or I got conditional love when I did something well. And even if I did that something well, if it wasn't peak, I could be better. And it's like, oh, maybe I could have got more love. And it's like, oh, I kind of suck. And it's like, I'm lacking. I'm like, ugh. And then there was like my relationship with my grandmother and me feeling like I couldn't express or be myself around her. That also manifested in my art and in my creating with her. You know, like my grandmother, my grandparents in general have never really understood like my YouTube or my business stuff. And even now that I've been pursuing it, you know, here living with my dad, and I've been telling them about it, they still don't really understand. And that's fine. I'm not really gonna try to get them to, because that's not really, I don't really care. You know, if they wanted to, they would make more of an effort. But, you know, I have to, you know, there's a quote I really love, which is, you can't create if you feel judged. You can't, right? You can't express, right? Creation is an expression of the self. You can't express yourself openly, authentically, if you feel judged about yourself. And so being in an environment where you don't feel judged, where you feel open, where you feel safe, very, very important for creating. And that was something where I felt like I didn't really have much in my grandparents' place. And, you know, I've actually been considering staying here or going back to actually live with my grandparents in New Jersey. And my dad has actually kind of expressed some concern for me because, you know, he knows about my situation and my relationship with them and like our previous dynamics of like not having much affection, not like me feeling like I can't really be myself or like really show up how I want to, or they don't really understand YouTuber business or my creativity, stuff like that. You know what I mean? My dad expressed concern for that. And so I definitely understood why, and I got it because it made a lot of sense. Because, you know, where I came from when I came down here a year and a half ago is completely different from where I'm at right now. And the inner work I've done, the healing I've done, the forgiving I've done to them in order to get to that place has been immense. And so, like, from my perspective, I wouldn't be able to feel judged from them because the only way I was judged before is because I had judgment in myself. You can only feel judged by others if you feel judged in yourself, if you're holding judgment for yourself. I love to give this example. If, you know, let's say like my brother just like bars into my room and was like, yo, Jay, you're an idiot. And I'd be like, you're an idiot. And then we just like laugh or something and then you go away. And it's like neither one of us would actually like take any offense to that statement because neither one of us actually holds true in our reality. Neither one of us believes consciously or subconsciously that we are an idiot. Neither one of us feels bad about our intelligence, right? But let's say I was insecure about my intelligence. Let's say I was judging myself for my intelligence, for my low intelligence. Let's say I believed I had low intelligence, which I don't believe. I'm actually borderline genius IQ. Just gonna say that. But let's say I did have some judgment in myself. Sorry if you hear my stomach growling. I've been awake since like 3 a.m. and I actually haven't eaten anything because I've been like working all day. I've been working on business stuff since like 4 a.m. And then when I stopped doing this, I started recording this video and it'll be going for like an hour and 50 minutes, so it's lit. But yeah, like I was saying, if I did hold that judgment, right, that insecurity in myself, if my brother, let's say Ye came in here and called me stupid, he's like, yo, Jay, you're an idiot. I'd be like, yeah, fuck you, like, you're an idiot. So, like, oh, suck my cock, man, like, blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? I get defensive, I get reactive, I get angry, I get pissed, I might get sad, whatever. I start feeling this way, I'd start reacting, I'd start having these impulsive reactions that make me want to, like, fight. Because I internally don't like who I am, and so by them pointing out that part of myself that I don't like, it makes me feel like angry or insecure, and then I have to lash out because I don't know how to properly express that. I don't know how to properly feel the emotion that I want to feel, right? I don't know how to do that because I've been blocked, I haven't been allowed to process, I've been programmed not to process. That was me, right? I got told, boys don't cry, suck it up. And so I was literally taught to not process my emotions. But if you're not processing your emotions, you're never going to get to the point where you're good. And if you're not good, you're never going to be in that state of mind to actually do the things that you want to do. You're always going to have that blockage. You got to get that down. You got to get to that peaceful state of mind. How do you do that? Walks, meditation, journaling, inner work, clearing out the mess. I like to say clearing out the mess. Getting out the noise, right? Having these periods of silence, these periods of non-consuming, of downtime. You know, I've been implementing this more in my life recently. You know, trying to, you know, I'm not going to act like I do this every time, but trying to have dinner, like, without watching something. I've been trying to do that, you know, a few times a week now. And it's cool, you know, like, eating without actually, like, consuming, like, just actively, like, being present with the food. It's actually a cool experience. Like, I'm not going to lie. Or just, you know, like I said, unplugged walks. Like, just taking the headphones off. Just being tapped in with nature. Just, like, even something, like, super mechanical, like yesterday. I usually make dinner while listening to music, or I'll have, like, a show on that I could, like, you know, check in with and just listen to type shit, you know what I mean? But yesterday, I made dinner, nothing. Just completely in, and it was cool. I actually, like, was, like, really in a flow state yesterday, and I was, like, doing a bunch of shit. I made some pasta yesterday. Made some, like, spaghetti with some ground turkey, and I made some peas and carrots and some Texas toast. And I was just like super in a flow state because I was like, had to do so many things like all over the place. It was cool. But, you know, it was really cool just like being in that and like being able to be in that moment without like any music or without, you know, like content, like watching something. Having that space, that silence, that is very important for emotional processing and for allowing ideas to come in for creativity. Okay, wow. I was talking for a long time. So let's talk about blockages, okay? Let's talk a bit about blockages. Because that's not really what this is about, but you have to know this context. So I was blocked for 10 years due to low self-esteem, damaged relationships with parental figures, not feeling comfortable expressing myself, and attaching my self-worth to external outcomes. I just spent like the last, 20, 30 minutes rambling about myself and about that. So now you have some context about it. And the things that I've had to face and the things that I've had to overcome in order to, like I said, unblock and become a consistent and fulfilled creator, to express consistently. These blockages manifested in an inability to consistently show up for a project, an inability to have motivation for my goals, and an inability to feel good about who I was. That was. And so what changed? My mindset, my beliefs, my programming, my identity. See, one day I decided that I wasn't going to allow my internal anchors to keep me from my abundance anymore. I was like scrolling on YouTube one day and I'd seen something, like I'd seen a video. I didn't watch it, but I just saw like the packaging, the title, and the thumbnail. And it said something, and I don't remember exactly what it said, but it just got me to like say this to myself, and I've been saying this to myself over and over and over again since then. But it's like, internal anchors are keeping me from abundance. Simple. It's like, if you don't let go of lack, you'll never make room for abundance. If you don't make like room for new things by clearing out the old things, the new things can't come in. You have to let the things go. You have to process them. You have to feel them. You have to release them. Guys, trauma, emotion, it's held in the body. I haven't read this book, but I know a lot of people are renowned by it. But this is also just like a spiritual concept. That book is more a mental health book, I believe. But it's a book called The Body Keeps Score. And it's a book talking about trauma and how trauma is stored in the body. Emotion is stored in the body. And so if you don't know how to process and really feel into your emotion, right? Because like, you know, if you're a man, for instance, and we were programmed to not process our emotions, you might have a ton of trauma stored in your body that you just have no clue about. And it'll stay there, taking up space, blocking your energy, blocking your flow, blocking your ability to create, to be yourself, to be in the flow of life. It'll stay blocked until you consciously remove it, until you feel it and you allow it to get out of you. Okay, cool. So yeah, one day I decided that I wasn't going to allow my internal anchors to keep me from my abundance anymore. I decided to let go and forgive my grandmother for causing me to close off my emotions to others. I asked God for strength because I felt like I couldn't do it on my own. I called her up. I laid it all out. She, you know, we went back and forth, you know, talking about her and her situation growing up. You know, the thing is, and I forgave her. I want to say that. And I forgave her and I felt very good about it. And I want to say this because this is actually important. Actually, let me finish reading this and then I'll talk about that. So I asked God for strength because I felt like I didn't have it. I called her up. I laid it all out. We went back and forth and I forgave her, right? And it was super beautiful and it was so healing, right? And as soon as I got off the phone, I just felt this like massive release. This massive relief in my chest and in my stomach and in my shoulders. And that was the day everything changed. And so I want to talk about that day because, you know, I'd had in my mind that I wasn't going to talk to my grandparents about my mental health. I wasn't going to talk to mama. I wasn't going to forgive her, blah, 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 whatever. And I've been saying this for years. Like I told you guys, I've been on my mental health and like inner work journey for 5 years. And so I knew that my grandmother and that damaged root was a big reason for the things that I didn't like about my life. I knew that was a big contributing factor. I also knew that having that conversation could be a vehicle for healing and for releasing that and for forgiveness. And yet I didn't want to take it. I was too scared of facing that vulnerability. I was too scared of being invalidated again. And that fear kept me in darkness. But on this day, I'm sitting thinking to myself, I'm like, hold up, bro. I would rather stay stagnant. I'd rather stay stuck. Stay not where I want to be. Rather than just have a conversation. That just doesn't make any sense. I'd rather hold on to this than let go of it when holding on to it isn't serving me. And in fact, it's actually hurting me and controlling me. That's a very interesting decision. I wonder why I'm doing that. It doesn't make any sense when you think about it like that, right? And so that was why I truly had the strength, the courage to take that action. And even with the, moving through the fear, I still felt like I couldn't do it on my own. I still had to ask God. I'm like, God, please. I literally prayed to God and I asked God to please give me the strength, the love, the wisdom, the power to have this conversation and to heal and to be over this. That's what I asked for. And then I called her up. I had it. And after I released, and it just felt like I said, it felt this massive relief in my chest, my stomach, my shoulders, my entire body. That was the day everything changed. And since that day in mid-May, that day was about 3 or 4 days after I started my daily upload. So I started my daily uploads on May 15th. So I believe I know it was that same week. So I think it was like the 18th or 19th I had that conversation with Mama. That's what I call my grandmother. But since that day in mid-May, I've uploaded 101 days straight on YouTube, 140 plus vids in that 101, I've recorded daily. I uploaded 101 days straight. So I uploaded for 101 days, right? Straight. And that was like 140 videos. Like I had like 2 weeks where I was uploading 2 videos a day. There were points where I was uploading like a vlog and like a talking head. There was points where I was doing like a podcast and a talking head, or like a long form, like a coaching call that I recorded in a talking head. So I had like 140 plus vids in that 101 day period. And that was from May 15th to 24th. So like that just shows you the output that I've been able to do, right? Since I've unblocked my creativity. I grew from 69 to 1,100 plus subscribers in that 100-day period. So because I've been my authentic self and because I've been able to unblock and show up consistently, I've been able to attract like-minded people. I made my first $1,200 online in 58 days of consistency, June 12th to July 13th. First sale was June 12th. The sale that got me over my $1,000 online, actually got me to my first $1,200 online, was July 13th when I made my $497 sale for my client Lala for our 3-month program. So I made my first $1,200 online in 58 days of consistency. I'd broken negative thought patterns. 50 days consistent. Oh, this says July. This should say May 15th. Oh shit. I meant to say May 15th to July 13th. Those are the 58 days. June 12th is when I got my first sale, but May 15th is when I started uploading daily. That's actually like the 58 days. Because June 12th to July 13th is like 31 days. May 15th to July 13th. There we go. That was the 58 days. So when I started uploading, like the day I uploaded my first daily upload to the day I made my $1,200, that was 58 days, okay? I have broken negative thought patterns and achieved a peaceful and calm default state of mind. I attracted a conscious partner, Aaron, I told you guys about, who helped me learn and grow and spiritually evolve a lot. We've since mutually separated. And I've also bounced back from a rut and a breakup, and I've returned to high frequency living. Like I've been so fucking lit this week, back to creating, like back to getting after it consistently. I've been in the gym. The gym has me so high frequency, bro. Like I'm so in love with showing up for the gym. It's so amazing. I'm having fun with it every time. I'm loving pushing myself. I'm loving training hard. I'm like going super hard. My current goal, current gym goal is to gain 13 pounds of muscle. So I currently weigh 164 pounds. Damn, I didn't weigh in this morning. Ooh, this is good though. I can still weigh in because I haven't eaten today. Nice. Nice, that's good. But my goal is to get to 100. I want to get to I think I'm going to do 185. But my goal is to get to 150 pounds of muscle mass. So I have my smart scale. Got my smart scale. Oh shit, there you go. Got my smart scale right there, as you can see. Yoink. And so it tells me how much like body fat percentage, muscle mass. So I'm 12% body fat percentage, 137 pounds of muscle, and 164 pounds. So in 6 months, by April, I want to be at 180 to 185 pounds, and I want to be at 150 pounds of muscle and 10% body fat. 10 to 12%. Really 10 to 11%. I feel like I'm still a little, like right now I'm like 12%. I feel like I'm a bit too chubby when I'm like 12 plus. I really like being at 10 to 11. So that's my fitness goal right now. Make sure this comp is good. Yeah, I think that's fine. Okay, cool. So those are all the things I've done since mid-May, since I unblocked my creativity, right? Uploaded for 101 days straight. I've made probably 200 videos in that time since then. I've grown from 69 to over 1,200 subscribers. I'm at 1,286 right now. I've made over $1,800 online, and I also attracted a partnership with an amazing woman that allowed me to grow, to heal more, to evolve more, and really just evolve both of us. And I've learned a lot, and I've been able to implement a lot of the things that I learned in our relationship for myself. And it's just so beautiful how that was a catalyst for my own personal growth and for her personal growth as well. We both learned a lot from each other. However, I could have only gotten to this point since I did tons of learning and introspection. That's the only reason. The inner work, the constant seeking, it's the only reason. Walks, meditation, and especially journaling. That's why I made an entire journaling course. Has helped me emotionally process, find gaps in my awareness, and heal parts of my shadow. This inner work was the key for me and is the key for you. Luckily for you, I've been doing inner work for 5 years. I started in April 2019 with my high school social worker. Like I said, shout out to GOAT Miss Mick. And I've only gotten more deep into inner work over my past 15 months of personal development. I've had clients and students who are musicians, YouTubers, entrepreneurs, hobbyists, complete beginners in business, and even a high-level tech salesman at Google, my client Tristan. All of them have told me how profound my wisdom is and how paradigm shifting my mindsets are. This is because I've got reps in this shit. Simple. I've been doing this shit for 5 years, like I said. And honestly, like learning and like teaching, being a coach has kind of just always been like one of my best and favorite skills. Bro, I've been teaching since like 5th grade. I mean, since I was 5 years old. Like, not 5th grade, kindergarten shit. Like helping my friends with math because I was so good at math. Bro, I was a killer at math. Like I had this growing up, like at like 3 or 4 years old, I had this like little like, it was kind of like a game, and I basically it basically gamified math for me. And so I learned the addition and multiplication times table for 1 through 12 by kindergarten. So I basically knew all of them already when I was in kindergarten. So I had this huge advantage in terms of like being ahead of the curve and ahead of my peers when it came to knowing math and like the foundations of it. And so I would help out my classmates, my peers, when they were struggling because I was just so proficient at this shit. This shit was just light work for me. And so I was helping my people out, and I loved it. I always loved helping people out. Like in 2nd grade, I was like the assigned like math helper. So I'd always like finish my math classwork like the earliest. And then when I finished, I could stand up and I like had this like cute little like vest, and I could walk around and I could like be like the math helper. Yo, that shit me so raw. I could like help around. In 2nd grade, I used to be the man in 2nd grade, bro. Remember I told y'all about my girlfriend in 2nd grade? Bro, I used to have hoes too in 2nd grade, bro. I swear, like, it's like, so like, let's say a classroom was like 25 to 35 kids, right? And so it's just like, it was fairly 50-50, right? I mean, 25 to 30 kids. And so it's fairly 50-50. So let's say it's like 10 to 15 girls in a class. Bro, I swear to my mother right now, I had at least 7 of the girls in my class on me in 2nd grade. At least 7. Like, actually, hold up. Can I do names right now? There's only 5 coming into my head right now, but I feel like there's 2 more I'm missing. Now I know there's 2 more I'm missing. Because I used to count this. Oh, boom. Okay. Nah, because I dead used to count this shit. But yeah, I literally had at least half of the girls in my classroom on me, like at all times, 2nd grade. And so like when I was finishing up in math class, I used to be like walking up, going around, fucking with the boys, going chopping it up, like flirting with girls and shit. I used to be him, bro. I used to be him. Yeah, I was just yapping. I forgot why I was even talking about math and shit. That's so funny. Oh yeah, coaching. I've always been a teacher, but yeah, that's just always been me, right? And so yeah, people have always told me like how profound my wisdom is, how paradigm shifting my mindsets are, right? And this is because I've gotten reps in this shit, and with that experience comes nuance, and in that nuance comes wisdom, and in that wisdom comes change. If you want to change your life, you need to start with internally changing. In my first 6 months of business, December 2023 to May 2024, I made basically no progress. I went from 13 to 69 subs on YouTube in that 6 months. Like, bro. 13 to 69. And I made a big old $0 online. I did make my first $300 in business, actually, doing videography for a couple millionaires, like I mentioned earlier. But I hated videography. I hated that shit. Another big reason why I believe in working on what you love, or my purposeful productivity philosophy. In my last 5 months of business, June to October, I've gone from 69 to almost 1,300 subs and made over $1,800 online. All because I took the convicted actions for my authentic self. In order to have what you really want, you must first be who you really are. Tim Grover, author of Relentless. This quote summarizes the foundation of purposeful entrepreneurship. When you align your values, your interests, your skills, and your struggles, you can create a purposeful business that can not only grow into financial freedom, but also contributes to the growth of the collective consciousness. Ah, how rewarding and fulfilling it is to contribute to the collective consciousness. As conscious creators, that's what we all want to do. And so what's the difference between creators and conscious creators? Well, earlier, I mentioned that we're all on a spiritual journey, right? There's no arguing this. You have a soul, and this soul is on a journey of evolution. The only difference between spiritual people and non-spiritual people is the awareness of this path, the awareness that you're on this evolution. It is the conscious awareness that you are a soul evolving through lifetimes. If you are someone who loves creating and wants to use your creating to lead, to love, to educate, to serve, and to inspire, then you're most likely a conscious creator. I mean, if you're on a conscious spiritual journey and you're a creator, which everyone is, then you're a conscious creator. And if you're watching this video, then you're definitely a conscious creator. It is my mission to serve conscious creators as individuals through coaching, courses, and ebooks and content. Coaching, courses, ebooks, and content. So we as individuals can serve the collective. I believe that I can have the most impact on individuals because, like I said, everything starts in the mind. Everything starts internally, right? And the most impact I can have on somebody isn't like a YouTube video. It's a one-to-one coaching session where I can help them with their direct experience. If that's something you're interested in, check out my link, all right? Book a session with me. But that's what it's really about. You know what I mean? And so like, I really want to help individual people. That's why I really, really, really love coaching. Like I love courses and ebooks as well. They're super high leverage. They allow me to help people. They allow people to get some value, maybe if they don't have the financial resources to invest. Things like that. But I value coaching over everything, not just because it's like the most valuable, not just because it's the most like, it makes me the most money, but because it's the most intimate for both parties and because it's going to get the best results for both parties. Like me mentally and spiritually, I'm way more fulfilled having a one-to-one coaching session that I know is gonna change somebody's life than like putting out a YouTube video that like gets 1,000 views and I'm like, hey, someone could have implemented this. I don't know. Maybe. Hope so though. You get what I'm saying? So for me, I see myself as someone who impacts individuals on a very like high level and helps them grow exponentially, so that my individuals that I impact can then impact the collective as individuals. You get what I'm saying? And so I want to grow the collective by growing individuals. And, you know, serving the collective is a foundational idea of my purposeful productivity philosophy. And the purposeful productivity philosophy is a foundational principle for purposeful entrepreneurship. Give me a second. Okay. My purposeful productivity philosophy says that you will work more, work harder, and produce better work for something that you love, enjoy, and impacts people that you care about. You, not someone else. Very important to emphasize. If in case there are like still any rats lurking, like I don't know if there could still be any rats lurking this long into the video, but if they are, I see y'all and you aren't welcome. All right. We want thinkers and leaders. No sleeping zombies. Thank you very much. Okay, so back to purposeful productivity. I just want to actually re-emphasize purposeful productivity. You will work more, you will work harder, and you will produce better work, right? So, I mean, that sounds like pretty good productivity to me. More work, harder work, and better work? Okay, that sounds pretty good. If you're working on something that you love, something you enjoy, and something that impacts people that you care about, all of those are important. All those are super, super, super important. Because you can't just like, it can't just be something someone else is putting onto you. Wait, did I talk about that? Oh yeah, okay, yeah. Let me get at this. Back to purposeful productivity. Business is hard enough. Why make it harder by trying to serve people that you don't relate to, or get into a business model that you could give less than a fuck about? Remember when I was talking about videography? I was working with actual millionaires, like learning business, improving my skills, building relationships with high-level guys. What's not to love? Shooting and editing boring ass real estate events with zero purpose and zero fulfillment being rewarded. That is unacceptable. You should never be doing work that you won't be rewarded in with like purpose and fulfillment. Oh, but Jalen, money. No. No work is worth selling your soul just to get some money. Especially if there is another option, which there almost always is. Now, if we're talking literal life or death, fair game, gang. Like, if you're in actual, I need this money, or I'm like starving, I'm like homeless, you got that, respectfully. But if you're not in that survival situation, like, I gotta make this video. I gotta make a video called talking about like, if you live at home, you gotta lock in, and I'm gonna make that video. But there's almost always another option for selling your soul just for money. Okay, if there's no fulfillment or purpose in your work, you really should not be doing it. Purposeful productivity says that you don't have to hate working or feel dead inside while trying to make a living. In fact, purposeful productivity makes you love working. Purposeful productivity has 3 foundational rules for your work. Your work should be 1, fun, 2, fulfilling, 3, flow state inducing. When you have all 3 of these things, you will crush your competition because you're in love with the game. This is so important. Do you want to know how I posted for 101 days straight? 140 plus videos in that 101 days. 101 days, never missed an upload. How? How did I do it? 3, 4 words actually. Fun, fulfillment, flow state. Simple. I love recording. I have so much fun with it. Why do you think I've been rambling for 2 hours? I get immense fulfillment from teaching and sharing my lessons. Why do you think I've been doing it since I was 5 years old? I also get into a deep flow state while speaking, which is, like I said, how I've been able to record for 2 hours. I also get into a deep flow state while listening, which is why I'm a coach. Having deep conversations is literally my favorite thing in the planet. And so instead of doing some random bullshit that any influencer or guru told you, go the purposeful entrepreneurship route and align your business with your vision, align it with your skills, align it with your struggles, your values, you, not someone else. No rat shit here, all right? The Purposeful Entrepreneurship Beginner's Business Course is for conscious creators looking to start their online business and make their first $1,000 online as a coach, creator, or community owner. The Purposeful Entrepreneurship course begins by using mindsets. Actually, give me a second. There you go. The Purposeful Entrepreneurship course begins by using mindsets and energetics to heal your inner child and unblock your unlimited creativity. We've been talking for hours, literally hours at this point, about how important the inner world and unblocking your creativity is. Without that, you won't even be able to show up consistently for your business, okay? And then the course will give you the business and contact tactics and strategies to help you. Fuck, can't talk. The course will give you your business and contact. Course will give you your business and content tactics and strategies. There we go. To help you use your unblocked creativity to build your online business. Words. If you're a beginner who's looking to become a more conscious, consistent, and fulfilled creator while using your skills to make your first $1,000 online, this course is for you. Or my one-to-one coaching is for you. You also just get you get this course if you become a part of my one-to-one coaching program. Not like a regular coaching call. So I have 90-minute and 30-minute coaching calls, individual one-off sessions, but I have my monthly program. So if you become a month-to-month client, you get access to the course for life. While I make no promises for coaching or courses, so I don't promise results. So I said use the course to make your first $1,000 online. That's not a promise or a guarantee. I don't do any of that. While I promise no results for coaching or courses, this course is full of the stories and lessons I've accumulated over my 10 months of business and 5 years of inner work. I've also been a lifelong math and science nerd. Kind of random, but I kind of feel like it adds credibility for some reason, LMAO. I spent the past 5 years learning, experimenting, healing, and growing as a person, a creator, and an entrepreneur. The wisdom synthesized into the 7 hours of content will be immense, and you're bound to find what you're looking for, whether that be mindset, esoteric, creativity, business, or content related. You know that you feel called to make a change in your life. You know that you feel called to create, yet for some reason you can't. That is because you're blocked. I get it. I've been there, remember? The girls, the grandma, the games, the grades. I've been blocked, and I've gotten through that so I could make content for 101 days straight, so I could attract like-minded people and grow my channel, so I could make my first $1,800 online by getting 14 sales. I've been able to do these things because I did that inner work. I shifted my mindset. I shifted my self-identity, my self-perception. I shifted my paradigm, my world perception. And by shifting my internal view and by shifting my external view, how I see myself, how I see the world, right? Both of these internal perspectives. By shifting these internal perspectives, my external reality also shifted. By shifting what I put in front of the mirror, the reflection of the mirror changed as well. And so how about you let me help you, right? How about you help yourself by letting me help you? Let me give you this analogy. Imagine you're in a tunnel, right? This is basically, when it comes to being on this conscious path of personal development or self-improvement, esoteric self-improvement, or, entrepreneurship or anything, whether you're developing a new skill or you're in a relationship, whatever, whenever you're starting something, right? You're in a tunnel, and this tunnel is pitch black. You can't see a thing. All you know is that you can either move forward or you can move backwards. And so you just start walking forwards. It's all right, well, Might as well just do this. I don't really think walking backwards would make sense, so let's just walk forward, right? And so you're starting off and you're taking these like tiny steps, you're tiptoeing because you're scared, you can't see anything. And so you don't want to bump into anything, you don't want to fall over, you don't want to trip, you know what I mean? You're scared, it's dark. And so you can't really move with much speed, with much pace, with much conviction. All you can really move with is blind faith. And that's okay. Because the thing is, you don't actually need to believe. Belief is in the mind. Faith is in the heart. Belief says, this has happened before, so it can happen again. Faith is, I have no clue what's going to happen, but I know that this can happen, and so it will. Like, this has never happened before, but I know that it can, and so I'm going to keep moving until it does. That is faith. Belief is in the mind. Belief is of past experience. Belief is, oh, this already happened. Faith is of the heart. Faith is saying, I have never seen this done, but I'm going to fucking do it. Belief versus faith. When the 4-minute mile was broken, a bunch of people, like high schoolers, started doing 4-minute miles, right? But until the 4-minute mile was broken, there was a belief, since no one had done it before, that the 4-minute mile couldn't be broken. But I forgot his name. When the guy who broke the 4-minute mile, when he broke it because he had the faith, then it happened, right? He did it, and then it already happened so other people could believe, and it was easier to follow. Belief is very easy to follow. The mind, it works in logic. Logic is very simple. 1 + 1 is 2. It adds up. The unfortunate thing about faith, the unfortunate thing about the heart, is that it relies on emotion, intuition. And that is not so cut and dry. It's not so as easily understood. The heart doesn't deal with knowns. The heart deals with the unknown. The heart deals with what's outside the box. And so you can't rely solely on belief. You need faith. And faith is what gets you to take the steps. Faith is what gets you to move, to take those steps in the blind darkness. Remember, we're in the blind darkness of the tunnel. And to move regardless, not knowing when you're going to be out the tunnel, but knowing that there will be an end. And so you're moving. And as you're moving, as you keep taking this, you're showing God, you're representing through your actions, through the steps that you're taking, that your faith in God, that God will guide you to the place that you want to go, is actualized, it's shown. And through this faith, through this demonstration of your faith, grace is granted. And as grace is granted, what happens? A light starts to appear. You see this light, and it starts to slightly illuminate your tunnel. And with this illumination, you're starting to gain more clarity. Things are starting to materialize in your reality. You're not operating solely on faith. Now you're starting to see things. You're starting to actually believe because now things are happening. And so you can start picking up the pace because things are moving and you can see it. And so now you're not operating on solely faith, but you have faith and belief. And now you can really start moving. You can really start taking up. So you pick up the pace and you're going. And as you pick up the pace, as you continuously go, your pace continues. The light also expands as well. And eventually you get to the point where you're in a fully illuminated tunnel and you're sprinting, you're going full, you're striding. Fully in the faith, fully in the known, right? In the belief. You have full mind-heart coherence and you're just striving, you're fully in it. That is, when you're an expert, when you have full belief in yourself, when you have full knowing, when you have, conviction, like real conviction that comes from faith and belief. From evidence and knowing that you can do things that are not actualized right now, right? You can make the impossible possible because you've done it. But before you make the impossible possible, you don't know. But once you do make the impossible impossible, once you do make the impossible possible, the impossible is no longer the impossible. And then everything becomes possible. But until you get to the point where everything is possible, it's not. And so you have to break that. Do you get what I'm saying here? basically the point of all of that is that you're on a path and you're moving on this path. And as you move on the path, you get further out of the darkness and more into the light, right? You get further away from the darkness, more into the light. And it takes time, it takes experience, it takes learning, it takes integration, it takes healing to move along this path, to gain more light, to get more clarity. And the thing is, you could do this by yourself. Or you could look to somebody who's ahead of you on your path, right? Who's been in the tunnel that you've been in. And instead of being in that alone, right? Not knowing when the light will come, not knowing when the obstacles are coming so you can move out of the way, you can have someone who has the experience point them out to you. You can be like, oh yeah, make sure you dodge that hole here. Make sure you hop over this one here. Make sure you don't step on that crack here. There's a booby trap there. Make sure that when you fall here, because you're definitely going to fall here. Don't think you're not. That you get back up because you're almost there. Trust me. When you have someone with experience who's already done the thing, who's already walked through the darkness, they can shine the light on your tunnel. And that illumination, it's worth so much. And that is the power of mentorship. I can shine a light on your path and illuminate a road that would have been dark otherwise. And so whether it's the course or my ebook or my coaching, if you resonated with anything in this video and you're ready to take action, you're ready to change your life, man, let's get to work, baby. Click on that link in the description, book a call with me, cop the course, whatever you want to do. If you're watching this when this video is coming out recently, we're basically at the end of the video. So congratulations for getting to the end of this. You're a real one, pound it. But as a thank you from me to you guys for all the love and support these past 5 months, I feel like I've never really done like a subscriber thank you or out there kind of thing, you know what I mean? And so for that, for this and for as a thank you and as a relaunch of basically the launch of the Purposeful Entrepreneurship course as the Purposeful Entrepreneurship course, I want to give the next 3 students half off to get the course for $111. So the course is regularly $222. That's the new price. But the next 3 students will get it half off for 2. And, okay, as a bonus, the next 2 students that buy will get a bonus 30-minute onboarding call so I can help you best navigate the course based on your specific goals. Okay, so again, the bonus 30-minute onboarding call is for the next 2 students only. If you want it, act now. All right, I wouldn't want to be that last guy. Right, so there's 3 people who can get the course for $111. So if you want to get the course, buy the fucking course. Get it for $111. And if you're one of the next 2 people, you can get that 30-minute onboarding call, complete bonus. And so what that means is basically, we'll hop on a call. You can either, maybe start digging into the course a bit, or you can, we can just have this 30-minute onboarding call. And I can basically help you navigate where your blockages are. I can help shine some light on your darkness, and that'll give you an idea of where to take action steps with the course, how to best navigate the course to your specific experience and your specific goals. You know what I mean? So yeah, next 2 students get that bonus 30-minute onboarding call. So I wouldn't want to be that last guy who gets it for $111 but doesn't get the call. So get it now if you want to work with me. If you've been thinking, you've been watching the content and been like, damn, Jaden's so wise. He's so man, I really love what he's about. I want to try to do something with him. Now's the opportunity, all right? Take it, all right? And if you read all of this or you watched all of this, but you aren't taking any action, I'm going to say this again. If you read all of this, right, or if you watched all of this because of the video, if you watched all of this video and you're not taking action, you're a wimp, all right? Honestly, I'm just going to say it. You're a pussy. I didn't want to say you're a pussy in the copy because that sounded a bit, but I'm just going to say it on here. You're a pussy. If you just watch this entire video and you're not going to take action, you're a pussy. If you're not going to do some inner work, if you're not going to go invest in yourself, if you're not going to go learn, if you're not going to go on an unplugged walk, if you're not going to be more intentional about being unplugged, for clearing noise, for making space, if you're not going to do some journaling, some meditation, if you're not going to forgive, if you're not going to go learn some more, if you're not going to expand your awareness, if you're not going to do any of the shit that I just talked about in this video, if you're not going to change your mindset, if you're not going to shift your paradigm, if you're not going to change how you see the world, if you're not going to change how you see yourself, if you're not going to be more loving, if you're not going to get out of judgment and separation, if you're not going to do any of that, why the fuck did you just watch this video? Why did you just sit up? How long has this been? How long has this been? Two and a half hours. 2.5 hours of your life. Why? Do something. Please do something after this video. Please. Actually, you know what? Take some action after this and then come back and tell me what you did, or tell me what you're gonna do. Okay? But yeah, if you watch this entire video but you don't do anything, you're a pussy. Simple. And I want you to feel that so you move how I was moving when I was trying to rejoin it down to school. Remember when I was telling you about that? How I wanted to feel dissatisfied because I felt like I was cast away from the tribe again? I'm casting you away, all right? If you're not going to take some action, you don't deserve to be here. Go fucking take some action. Stop being a bitch, okay? Cool. Don't act like a pussy. Go get to work. All right, this is basically done. Right here, I got my personal entrepreneurship course modules. So I'll just tell you guys the 4 modules real quick, and then I'm gonna fucking turn this video off because I need to stop talking. First module is mindsets and spiritual principles. There's 6 videos in this. Second is the art of creation. So that's another basically just mindset course module. So the first 2 are mindset, inner work tactics, energetics, spiritual principles. Next 2 are for like the actual like strategies and tactics for business. So the third is the foundations of online business. That's 4 videos. The fourth is the intro to content creation. That's also 4 videos. And then there's the bonuses. So I actually have 4 bonuses as well. There's like a 90-minute lecture on business. There's a 30-minute lecture on using YouTube for educational YouTube content. I mean, using educational content for business. There we go. And then I have 2 more videos from my journaling course. I mean, it's for free right here on YouTube, but I just have them in the course, so they're there. But I wanted to have those there because those are the 2 journaling methods that are best for inner work. So I have that in the course, you know what I mean, as bonuses. So that's the whole course, baby. $111 for the next 3 people. Next 2 people get the 30-minute onboarding call. I've been running my mouth enough. If you're here, top link in the description is my newsletter. I'd love to see you there. Besides that, I want to go get some food. I've been awake for almost 12 hours and I haven't eaten anything. So, yeah. I'm out. Peace.